106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
Wednesday, September 4th. Guys, summer, I mean, it's officially over like in 2-3 weeks, but it's over, guys. Guys, it's over. It was an awesome, awesome summer. It's Double Impact. I'm your host, Gabe LT. Jericho Green will be here a little late. Imagine that. Jericho Green running late. No, he had some great family stuff to attend to, and we will see him when we see him. So that'll give me a little time to wax philosophical with you guys. I can take a little bit of Q&A. But I wanted to talk to you guys about what has been on my mind lately when it comes to the arts and fighting the culture war that you all need to be heavily invested in. Invested it in? Come on, Gabe. What are you doing? This is water. What are you doing? Hold on. So I'm starting to post videos again on a regular basis. It will be Tuesdays and Thursdays, a recorded video, me giving my thoughts on how to make great art and what to do about the culture war. I don't want to lean into the negative too much. I'll pick out things that I think are wrong, and then I will talk about how we do it right. That's what I think is more important than just complaining, because I feel like just complaining is not going to do anything. You know what I mean? We can scream into the void forever, but I think we have to talk about the root causes of these things. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'll show you real quick. Let me share my screen. No doxing on the screen. Okay. So the hard one, looking fit, Gabe. Absolutely. Yeah, better than looking fat. Guys, I'm in the 250s for the first time since 2013, 2012, 2013. A year ago, I was like 305 pounds. So still got muscle. I can still lift the same amount in the gym. Here's the key. Still don't eat a lot of crap all the time. It's really that simple. Cookies. I don't have a sweet tooth, although I do love chocolate. When it comes to like fruit flavored candies, lifesavers, all that, I don't like it. Gummy bears, all that stuff, hate it actually. I think it's pretty gross. But let's get into what I'm talking about here. So the two latest videos I have up, this one's from Tuesday, DEI, destroying everything important, and Race to the Bottom. I posted it today, and members can watch it right now. Watch it after the live stream, of course, after Jericho and I are done making you laugh. But and it'll go live tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific. That's when my videos will go live. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 a.m. Pacific. We'll see how that does. If we have to move things around, we shall. But I want to talk to you guys about how to solve this, because to me, it's about being a man of action. I pride myself on that. I don't want to just bitch and complain. I want to talk about, okay, here's a problem, but what am I going to do about it? I don't want to spend too much time being angry about it, because that's not going to help me or you or anyone. But real quick. So there was a video game, some of you know, some of you don't, called Concord that came out. Sony was paid for its development from a studio called Firewalk Studios. This is what I've read online. Some of this information could be imperfect and incorrect, but the general thrust is correct here. 8 years of development, over $200 million. It's an online game, so you have to play online at all times with other people shooting it out in maps. The game is pulled from online service in less than 2 weeks because it only sold, I guess, in the hundreds. This is the kind of game where you spend this kind of money on it in the video game business and you're expecting it to sell in the millions. And the game was so comedically ugly and woke, it was unbelievable. I'll show you some of the artwork real quick here. And it's the character designs that were brutal. And then we'll go into the why, though, because I think a lot of people commenting on this, they talk about the what, but they don't talk about the why. And I'll tell you exactly what the why is here. And some of you may know what I'm going to say because I've already spoken about it ad nauseum on this channel. But it's a very important thing to understand where stuff comes from. Why does it happen? Because if you can understand the mechanism of why things happen, then you can understand how to solve it. It's like when you go to the doctor or the hospital, they put you in the triage, right? If you've ever been to the emergency room and there's something wrong, but you don't know exactly what, blood pressure, temperature, all those things, so they can be like, which way do they send them? They want to know what's wrong. That's how you solve problems. Let me welcome people in. Kara's here. Heather is here. Joe Musashi, secretary, not sure. Mark's Music Obsession. I think he's the longest channel member. And guys, sign up to be a channel member, okay? Because you're going to get the recorded videos sometimes the day before, because I'll post them before, not always the day before, but I'll post them at least hours before, and you can watch them early, and you can be in the know before everyone else. But this game, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars and years spent on it, and now, sadly, the artists and a lot of the developers, people working on it, they're going to lose their jobs, some of them, not all of them, because they decided to make ugly, woke things. Now, why would you make this? Why would you make things like this? What is going on with leftists and socialists that they want to ruin Star Wars, that they want to ruin everything that society has? You think of all this stuff that was normal, that we liked, that was awesome, and then they make the version for the modern audience, and it's all woke, and it's crap, and it's aggressively ugly. What is that about? Are these people incompetent? Do they not know what they're doing? No. The artists that made this stuff are very good, very skilled artists. These horrible looking video game characters are well drawn. Like, what do you mean, Gabe? This looks like crap. It's not what I'm saying. The designs are very bad, but the execution of the bad designs are well drawn. The color's correct, the anatomy, the shading, the 3D, it's all correct, but it's not good. And that's on purpose. Why? Why would anybody do that? Here is the thumbnail for my video tomorrow. And right there, the little subheading that I have, race to the bottom, is what I'm calling the video for tomorrow. You'll love it. Ugly hates beautiful. The woman in the middle there, I generated that with Grok's image AI. I just said, make me a beautiful female warrior in sci-fi armor, standing on the edge of a space freighter, looking out into a nebula of outer space and planets. And I cut her out and pasted her on this. And the concept there is ugly hates beautiful, right? So what I'm always hammering on here for you guys is the culture war goes beyond the surface level of, oh, I don't like woke Star Wars. I don't like woke Ghostbusters. I don't like woke fill in the blank. That's like the iceberg. You know how there's just a little bit on top and then there's the 5,000 feet of ice under the surface. What you have to understand what's going on here, what's going on with this stuff is that this is a philosophy. It's a culture of resentment. Why? What is the resentment about? Well, the leftist, socialist, Marxist, feminism, all that, it's the same thing. People will nitpick and split hairs and tell you it's not the same thing. It's all the same thing because it's all based on resentment. And it comes from the family and it comes from tradition. When you hear a leftist say, smash the patriarchy, this is what they're talking about. What is patriarchy? Pater, that's Latin, it means father. Patriarchy is rule by fathers. It's not rule by men, it's rule by fathers. And the way good fathers are supposed to rule is benevolent love. They're stern, they're guiding, they're loving, they're providers, protectors. We live in a world in the West where the father has been destroyed for the last 100 years, but really in the post-World War II era, the father's been decimated. He's been Homer Simpsonized and Archie Bunkerized, right? The father is a joke. Men are toxically masculine. Maleness is pathologized by the left as evil. It's evil to be a man, is what they say. So everything men like, sexy women, violent sports, driving, drinking, not together ever, All of it is wrong. Everything, men being alone, having men's groups, men's clubs, doing anything, all of it's invaded. The Boy Scouts are invaded. Men are relegated to these pathetic man caves like some sort of overgrown child. It's not even their home. They get pushed off according into one little quarter. Everything about being a man is, yes, dear. You hear stupid things in the culture like happy wife, happy life. That ain't true. You're supposed to be a leader. You're supposed to be bold. You're supposed to be disagreeable as a man. When you hear bullshit, you're supposed to have the balls to say it's bullshit and not go along to get along, to be a coward. So where does this resentment come from? When you raise boys and girls, but let's talk about boys, because men grow into boys and they're supposed to be leaders. When you raise boys for generations with toxic masculinity as the culture and no father, and everyone, all dads are Homer Simpson and Archie Bunker. Hold on. You convince people through the power of persuasion and art that this is true. That's the power of art. It works on the subconscious. It works on the amygdala. If art is executed by great artists, no matter what the message is, your subconscious will entertain that it's true. And if you hammer in these leftist messages for decades, well, you get people who think this way, act this way, and vote this way. So if you think it's just crappy communist Star Wars or crappy Ghostbusters, you're kidding yourself. That's not what is going here. That's not what the leftist plan is. If you know anything about communism, you can go read their literature. They don't hide this. This is a concept called the long march through the institutions. It's a generation-long concept where they're going to get into the government, they're going to get into the universities, and most of all, they're going to get into the arts. And they're going to take them over and push this message forever. Where does the resentment come from? I keep saying that, and now I'll answer. When you don't have a father and you don't have a fatherly influence, or you have a father in the home, but he's weak and he's in the feminist mode, your father's not able to be enough of a disagreeable man to buck the system and buck society and teach you the right way, to demand more of you. Your father wants to be weak and he wants to be your friend. He doesn't want to demand from you more out of you and say, hey, that's not good enough. That's not who El Taibs are. We're better than that, and you know it. That's how you love people when you're a dad, when you're a father. You put your hand on that kid's shoulder, you look them right in the eyes and say, wipe the tears. I know you're scared. We're going to do this. You can do it. I believe in you. And that's the most powerful thing that fathers do. You know, they provide, they protect, but they inspire people to be more than they ever dreamed. So you have generations of people who've grown up without a father, and they say, smash the patriarchy. If that isn't a hatred of fathers and men, I don't know what is. And I think they're hateful and resentful to men and fathers and the rule of fathers, patriarchy, because their dad was a bum. He wasn't around, or if he was around, he was a coward, happy wife, happy life guy. So that's where this resentment is coming from. So when they see the beautiful, you know, and I had the AI generate me this beautiful woman, right? And I didn't tell it, oh, make big boobs, this, that. I said a beautiful female warrior in sci-fi outfit, blah, blah, blah. This is the consensus, because Grok is doing its AI based on the consensus of tweets on Grok. That's the language model that Grok uses, is mostly tweets. So when it's trying to figure out what people think is beautiful, this is what most people are thinking. When you have been raised correctly by your father and you realize you could be more than you ever dreamed if you're willing to suffer and pay the price of discipline and consistency and hard work, you realize I don't have to lower the standard. I can reach for the standard and I can go beyond it. I can be the greatest that ever lived. You have the confidence to get bloodied in the mouth and keep going. You see? So when you have people who never had that dad, look them in the eyes and say, I believe in you, son. I believe in you, daughter. You can do this. You can do it, damn it. And I will help you. And you can do it. They never had this, these leftists. And it's why they hate fathers. And it's why they hate excellence. They hate beauty. They hate success, because they resent it. Because they are so brokenhearted inside and they're lashing out in anger. Why do people succeed? Why is she beautiful? Why is he rich? Why is he smart? Why are they married with a family? Oh, it should be mine. But since they don't know how to win, because their dad could never just do that for them, teach them that they were valuable, they would rather tear other people down. That is the bottom line with leftist thought, is it's a culture of resentment. That is what is going on with all this woke stuff that comes out. It doesn't make any money. It fails, and the artists lose their jobs. Because I told you, the communist long march through the institutions, they're not good enough to be artists, most of these commies, because that requires hard work. But what is easy to get into is middle management and HR. It's much easier to get in that. So the long march through the institutions, they make sure they install themselves where the levers of power are. And then they can tell artists, hey, you're going to make woke crap or you're going to be fired. That's what happened over at DC Comics for me. Now, they didn't threaten to fire me, but they told me that I was going to make woke crap, and I quit. I told them I'm resigning. I'll finish out my contract, and I'm out of here. After that being my lifelong dream since I was a little boy, I said, nope, I'm not doing that, because my dad, my grandpa, my football coaches looked me in the eye and told me that I could be more than I ever dreamed. So I knew I didn't need DC Comics. God supplies my needs, not DC Comics. So I was able to break away from that. But I know a lot of people that privately message me, they're not able to break away from it. And I would never betray their confidence or say who they are, but they're pros in the entertainment industry, and they private message me and they say, you know what, man, what you did standing up to Warner Brothers was so brave and noble. And, you know, I got a family and blah, blah, blah. And I'm not going to judge them. I'm not going to say anything. Let me check on the comments real quick. But I hope that rant there made a lot of sense to you, because I believe it sincerely. Let's go. Let's see. Michael Coulter says, Gabe, that Concord game that Sony made is pure trash. There's another game called Dust Bowl that's an absolute dumpster fire. I never heard of. Are you talking about Dustborn? I heard of Dustborn, and that thing is a flop too. They said people playing live is like in the teens. And for those of you that don't know, when you play online games through the online game store called Steam, where you can buy games and like keeps track of your status or whatever, it'll tell you how many people are playing a certain game live. Well, if there was a brand new video game, wouldn't you guess there would be thousands of people playing it live? There was another ultra woke game where you were like non-binary and, just check all the boxes to make all your quotas of DEI. And in this game, you learn how to bully and cancel. I'm not even kidding. And I think the game has like 10, 20 people playing it live. It's an absolute failure. And they actually got government funding is what I read online from a European government. I forgot which one, and the American government. They got all that to make this game and make it insanely woke. And people don't want this stuff because art is about truth and beauty. Art is patterns. That's all art is. I am recreating God's patterns of nature. Whether I'm writing a joke, writing a story, making a drawing, whatever I'm doing artistically, I am mimicking God, not even close to his level, but just mimicking creation, mimicking patterns. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine. The better I am at making patterns, art, patterns, same thing, you enjoy it more because your brain is primed to give you dopamine when you recognize a pattern, because that's how you survive. When you look into the bushes and you see the pattern that is a tiger's face, you get dopamine because you recognize the pattern that will save your life. So all pattern recognition, it makes you feel good. Well, the problem with woke art is they won't do the pattern correctly because they want to serve their communist ideal of, oh, I hate my dad. Let me destroy beauty and truth. Let me destroy my dad's world because I hate him so much. He didn't teach me how to do this stuff like him. So I'm going to tear it all down, change his songs, tear down his statues, right? Erase his history. Look at everything the left is always trying to do. They're trying to smash the patriarchy. Well, I've got bad news for them. If you do that, you'll suffer because the patriarchy gave you everything you have that you enjoyed. And people would say, well, aren't you leaving out women when you say that? Absolutely not. Women are 50% of the patriarchy. The men lead. Who do you think they're leading? They're leading the wives and the mothers are just as important as the dads. Patriarchy just means there's one steering wheel in the car. It doesn't mean your wife isn't sitting next to you helping you with directions. Or your wife doing that thing where someone hits the brakes a half mile in front of you and she goes, ah! And she grabs you. I always joke with Jericho about that because turns out wives like to do that on the freeway. But yes, that's what this is about. This is about resentment because they don't know how to achieve. And I feel sorry for them on some level. I hate what they're doing. I think it's despicable and it's just destructive. It's like getting termites in the wood of the house. But ultimately what they're doing is based on anger, fear, and heartbreak. They want to Star Wars was awesome. It was normal. And they just want to make one that's ugly to defile it. They just want to spray paint all over a beautiful statue or something like that. Let me look at the comments again. Toodle Skay, don't believe anyone who says socialist is nothing serious, been dealing with it getting progressively worse since I was 12. Yeah, I don't make a distinction between socialism and communism. I know they like to, and I know technically it's a different thing. It's all authoritarianism. It's all anti-liberty. It's all anti-life. All of it. Let's see. Yeah, that's so true. When you're a child, you're impressionable and think stuff in TV is real. Horror One says, no, let me disagree. Disagreeing isn't great for conversation, but Horror One, you still think stuff on TV is real, and so do I subconsciously. Watch a scary movie where a monster jumps out and you haven't seen the movie before. You'll jump in your seat or you'll flinch just a tiny bit because your subconscious doesn't know that isn't real. Your conscious brain is like, that's a TV set in front of me. It's not a monster. Your subconscious is like, holy shit, there's a monster, right? So, the persuasion works on you no matter your age. 1-year-old, 100-year-old, it doesn't matter. Persuasion works on the subconscious level. And again, this is why the communists, they know this. They know this. This is by design, the long march to the institutions. Now, Joseph Stalin, he famously called the followers, the citizens that are communists, called them useful idiots, right? Because they don't know about the big plan of the bosses of communism. They're just told to be angry, and it's class war. You know what I mean? The rich versus the poor. Oh, the business owners, they hate you workers. You need to rise up and seize the means of production. Well, that didn't work in America post-World War II because we had a great economy where blue-collar people with no education could buy a home, buy a car, send 2 kids to college in the 50s and 60s. So what they decided to do, and it was Paul Chato. He's got a great channel. He's a friend of the channel. He's been on here once or twice. Love Paul. He's a hilarious guy. He pointed out to me, because he's a little older, I think he's about 60 or 70. He pointed out to me, so since the class war didn't work with the communists back in the 50s and 60s, because blue-collar people were paid so well, you couldn't piss them off at their employers, they got into a race war to divide people. But it's always divide and conquer. So now we have race versus race, we have man versus women, and we have the LGB and all that versus heterosexual. That's by design, guys. You're being set up to hate each other and to fight. So again, I save... Why did I go out of focus? I save a lot of my vitriol against these leftists because, yes, it makes me angry because art is my passion. I love art. I revere art. I think art is a holy gift from God, that we little humans can make these little scribbles on paper and change someone's life. Think about how poignant that is. That's actually pretty amazing, and to have it be perverted by broken-hearted people who have been raised horribly. I mean, when you think about the angry college student leftists with the blue hair and this and that, take that anger you have at them away and picture them as a 6-7-year-old girl looking out their window, wondering when their dad's going to come back because they haven't seen their dad in 6 months. Think about that. I'm not excusing the poor behavior, the, whatever stupid, illegal, ugly, destructive things they might do as an adult. But you have to understand how things are built. You have to understand the system that led us to this point, because if anything can be made, it can be unmade. So we can figure out how to reach out. So what do we do about this? Do we just get on here and go, Disney Star Wars sucks, and these woke video games suck, and all this stuff, and the people that make them suck? You can. Does that change anything? It would be like if a house was on fire. You said, that house is on fire, and you didn't call 911. Or if you were a fireman, right, and you didn't get your hose out with your crew of other firemen. So I'm like a fireman. I have the ability to put out fires because I have the ability to make art. Because God blessed me with talents and skills, and then I've honed them my whole life. I'm 46 now. I've been drawing and making up stories since I don't remember when. Since my earliest memories, I've always been doing this, okay? So some of you can call 911 and call the firemen, and I am the fireman. And the way you compete with this is making art that is as good, or better than Disney, Warner Brothers, and all that. You cannot make corny, crappy art that doesn't hold up, that has shit acting and bad budgets, and think you're going to outdo them. You could say it's crappy stuff, the Disney stuff. It's not crappy in the artistic quality. It's crappy in its message. But if you're going to sit here and tell me these woke actors, artists, writers, singers, dancers, you're going to tell me they're bad artists, you're on drugs. They are amazing artists. They are, but they're making despicable art. So we need people raised in the arts for decades, so that, because to get the world-class skills like people like me have and all that, not bragging, just this is a statement of fact, to get these world-class skills is going to take at least a decade, right? So you can't just, I'm tired of this woke, I'm going to write my own Star Wars. I was like, have you ever written anything before? Like, if you haven't, then you can't do it on the first day. There's no such thing as artistic talent like that for anyone ever. I don't care if it's Frank Frazetta, one of the greatest painters of all time. He couldn't do that when he was 5. No, he couldn't. He was more talented than most when he was young, still had to work his butt off. I could show you artists that would blow your mind. You all know the big ones from the Renaissance, but I think J.C. Leyendecker is the greatest American painter of all time. Look him up. The artwork is blow your mind. He couldn't do that when he was 10 years old, but I bet you when he was 10, he was damn better than most people, but he couldn't do that. So my point is, you have to work on the skills if you want to be the fireman, if you want to help put out the fire. But if you can't, you have another obligation. If you care about your culture, You care about your mother and your father and your grandparents and your great-grandparents and going back and back, and everyone who suffered and died and gave you everything you have. All those people coming over from Europe on ships, coming from South America, coming from Asia, everyone that came, I'm talking to Americans here, but everyone everywhere on earth, your ancestors gave you everything you have. They bled and died for you, right? They did, and they didn't even know you. They didn't. They'll never know you. They lived hundreds, thousands of years before you, and they still loved you enough to keep the fire alive. So you have an obligation to them, in my opinion. And I don't really think it's opinion. I think this is a fact. They've given you their blood. What have you given them back? You cannot time travel and go back and pay them. So the way you pay them is you do what they did, and you pay it forward to the hundreds and thousands of years from now, your line, your blood. You keep that beautiful culture alive that was given to you. Through death and misery, it was given to you. That's the only price that could have paid for what we have. So you have to make this art, and many of you can't because you won't be making it for 10 or 15 years if you start your skills tonight. But what you can do is support people that make it. And that's, I talked to my buddy Matthew Martian, and he's going to come on the show very soon. I asked him to come on tonight. He said tonight was no good, maybe next week. Matthew Martian, Rambo, Resident Evil, Transformers, awesome actor, even better guy. And one thing he goes on and on and on about that he is so right about is that for whatever reason, conservatives do not support the arts like the left. The left gets in there, they take it over, and they pull the wallets out. They do. And he talks about trying to get movies made by conservatives, and they want to come in and do everything on the cheap and do all this. And I don't get it. And there's something about conservatives, and I think they've been brainwashed by leftists somehow, because I've heard from so many conservatives and Christians and patriotic people my whole life, Hollywood is filthy and dirty, and that's raunchy movies and raunchy music, and we just opt out of the arts. And I'm like, no. Don't opt out of the arts. Compete, beat their ass, make better art. What are you opting out for? This is the cultural battlefield. Are you kidding me? You cannot just opt out of the arts and then everything is filth and then cry about it. So you get your wallet out and support good people making good stuff that you would be proud to show your kids and show your grandparents and show people. And it's not dirty. It's uplifting. It's inspiring. It's most of all entertaining and fun and thrilling. You get your wallet out and support it. And if you can make it at the high level, giving me this garbage crap, make it at the high level. And then raise kids. Stop telling conservative, patriotic kids, Christian kids, stop telling them the arts are bad and stupid. That's a lie. It's just not true in any way. So we need that. That's what we need so much. That will do so much healing to our culture. Let me look at the chat really quick. I support good quality products and entertainment. Well, thank you, Toodle's-Gay. Joe Musashi, it is really sad that people on the right don't support art. It's not only sad, it's stupid, and they're shooting themselves in the foot. It's terrible. Luke Letterly, art comes in many forms. Art is nearly infinite, Luke. Art is self-expression. That's all it means. Now, you could be bad at it and do some self-expression where you don't express yourself greatly because you don't have the skill, or you could do it at the highest level because you've been practicing for at least a decade, if not longer. Michael Coulter, Gabe, the only true painter, but I knew growing up was Bob Ross, LOL. Bob Ross was great. He did so much for so many people. Was he the most technically skilled painter of all time? No, but he made art accessible and less intimidating to the masses. And that's a beautiful thing, because art, I think, is to uplift and inspire and to celebrate and to be grateful. That's what art is for. That's what I believe. Let me see. Kara73. Gabe, I know an amazing artist. He's Christian and doesn't do wokeness either. If you're still hiring, I'll send him. Yeah, you can send me stuff. Big Man Comics has been blessed. We've had so much success, guys. We're expanding very, very responsibly. I'm not going to do the thing where people get money, they get success, and like, oh, I'm going to hire 5,000 people and start 5,000 books and movies and cartoons, video games. I'm going to do it not cowardly, not timidly, like nothing ventured, nothing gained. Fortune favors the bold. I believe all of that. Believe me, I'm a bold guy. You don't walk away from a great, great paycheck at Warner Brothers if you're not bold to do your own thing. But yeah, here it is, redacted. Dean Cain, All-American Lawman, Volume 2. I'm done with the first draft of the plot, 95%. I get to the climax today, the very, very, very climax, and I'm going to leave to write the rest tomorrow. I got about 30 minutes of writing to do tomorrow. Guys, it's the best thing I've ever written. If you loved Volume 1, this blows it out of the water. And Volume 1 was awesome, but I'm going to put this up as an ad sooner or later. I blacked out everything, like those redacted files. But it says, Chris Tanaka, Fangjin Shan, you guys have to get out Google Maps to find out where Fangjin Shan is. Tactical Gear, Temple, Part 2, theme stated, take care of itself. Chris turns to Blank and says, it's going to be hard enough. Chris and Blank make their way up to, falls to his death. What's going on in this story? I'm having so much fun. Guys, this took what I did in volume 1 and turned it up to 11,000. This is so much fun. I told my wife the whole story tonight on the back patio, right before I came on the show. She was blown away. She loved it. Now, of course, my wife is a little biased towards me, a little bit. But I'm having so much fun. You guys made that possible. And another thing I'll tell you about supporting art, if you don't have Dean Cain All-American Lawman Volume 1, we have a few of the first copies left. And I put the signed editions back up on the website because people have been asking me about them. And when Dean and I originally signed them, we signed tons of these things and shipped them off to everyone who ordered them originally. And then I reserved, I think, about 50 or 60 copies in case some people's got lost in the mail or destroyed or whatever. And I held on to them for months now. And now that all those initial customers have theirs, I put them back up. And immediately A, B, and C autograph sold out. So we still have E and F autographed. So if you want to jump on the website now, bigmancomics.com, and support the art, like I was telling you, do it now. If you want to support me and keep this stuff going, become a channel member. You'll get to see the videos early. That's awesome. And there are posts I make that only channel members see. You know what I mean? So yeah, please support me. I think I deserve your support, and I think you'll be thrilled to support me. I think you'll get a lot of great entertainment out of it. You know, if you can't tell, I care about this stuff. This isn't just a paycheck for me. This isn't, oh, I just like drawing. This goes beyond that. This is my life's work. And I want my life's work to be dignified, and I want it to mean something. I want it to be at the end of my life, when I'm an old man, to feel like, okay, I deserved my success. I did something with what God gave me. I didn't just please myself. I didn't just do what I wanted in spite of what was right. I wanted to make sure that I've made a difference and inspired people. Let me look back in the chat real quick here. The whole one, Gabe and DC at it again. DC, I just feel sorry for them. It's a shame. I wish they'd turn that around. They've got a new initiative coming this fall with some relaunch of Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. God bless them. Good luck. If it's woke, I don't know why they won't learn their lesson the 100th time. Maybe it won't be woke. I don't know. I haven't read it. I doubt I'm going to read it. So, Kara asks, would you consider photography a form of art? Of course. I think cooking is art. Any self-expression, anything where you do or create or perform something, it's art. It really is. What I'm doing is art right now. This is art. I'm orating, right? I'm speaking to you guys. I'm making a persuasive speech. That is art, right? So art, that all it is self-expression. Don't let people put it in a box and say, oh, well, you got to do this, you got to do that. I think, I won't name names, but I've had debates with other professional artists, and they say that they're not an artist. They're a cartoonist or an illustrator. And to me, it's such false humility, because the definition of someone who makes art, of an artist, is someone who makes art. And when they call themselves just a cartoonist or an illustrator, what that demonstrates to me is they're actually very arrogant about what an artist is. And they know secretly everyone thinks they're an artist, and they try to downplay it to not admit how arrogant they are about an artist. I'm not arrogant about being an artist at all. Jericho's here. I'll let him in 1 second when I finish this thought. To me, being an artist is no different than when I was a carpenter and a construction worker. It's just a skill I've learned. God bless me with some talent. I've honed it. And I don't think I'm any better than you because I make art. Welcome to the show. Here he is, Jericho Green, the man, the myth, the legend, the Midnight Lover himself. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. Sorry I'm a little bit tardy. My son had football practice in a town that is about half an hour away. They had a league here, 3 minutes from the house, but it wasn't very good. It was some haphazard, loose meat shit sandwich type situation. So we had to travel a little bit to give him quality competition.
That's a good dad. Good dad going the extra miles to get his son a better football experience.
Literally,
the amount of good,
extra miles.
The amount of good that football has done to millions of young men is amazing in our culture in America.
Yeah,
it really is. It really is.
It's great.
So I'm glad to hear it. And I hope little Jericho Green Jr. is what's he playing? What position they got him at?
Offense. He's running back, receiver. He's probably the fastest kid on the team. And
it's one of those slim hips. One of those slim hips is what my coach would call him.
He's like a little. He's like a little gazelle. You know, he's light.
That's what my coach, Bill Christopher, in high school, 2 championships, sophomore year and senior year, CIF, San Diego section champions. He would call the running backs a slim hip gazelles, and he'd make fun of them because he was a lineman when he played. He was your typical fat football coach. And then I wasn't fat. I was buff as hell like I am right now. I was a lineman too, though. I wasn't no little pretty boy wide receiver. I was a pretty boy lineman, you know. I was the prettiest defensive end you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, you have. When I was at your house, I saw that plaque you had in the living room that said "prettiest lineman ever."
That's right.
You display it proudly, and I don't blame you.
I won that on the team as most beautiful eyelashes.
Oh, wow. Well, we don't need to brag about all our awards. Some of them we need to keep close to the vest. But
hey, it ain't bragging if it's true, baby.
That's true. What up, Horror One versus Pro, everybody? Appreciate it. Yeah, and on defense, he's like a defensive back, you know, safety, not letting anybody get behind him. He's really fast. He would be, you know, he has
I love it.
Light bones, slim. So yeah, but he's good. He's a good kid.
Awesome. I love it. Well, tell him I said good luck, and I hope you enjoyed the posters I sent out your way. I hope those were fun.
Yeah, I just put them up in his room yesterday.
Good.
So yeah, I got him strategically placed. But yeah, he loves it, man. Those posters have joined the pantheon of his Bruce Lee poster. He has a ninja poster in there. So, you know, you're in some good company.
Well, Jericho Green and the Hammerhead script is up next. I got the Dean Cain All-American Lawman Volume 2 script, 99% done today. It is insane. It is Volume 1 turned up to 11,000, dude. It's so, and the first one was excellent. This is so much better, so much fun, so insane. Helicopters, freighter ships, satellite stuff. Oh my, I don't want to, it's just insane what's going on in this volume. I turned everything up just higher and higher and higher. Think about what you think about. That's Jason Statham asking the question.
Think about.
Hey, Jay, is your son doing tackle, footy, or flag?
Yeah, well, first of all, he's playing real football. Soccer is not football. It's called soccer.
Oh.
And he's doing flag football. I was just speaking to one of the dads yesterday at practice and saying how I wouldn't be mad if my son didn't play tackle football till he was like a sophomore in high school.
Oh, really?
Just, you know, to stave off the injuries, the head injuries, you know, banging their heads together and stuff. And I mean, and not saying he's going to go pro or anything like that, but if you have a talent and a skill, you have it. So whether he plays tackle really young, he's 8 now, or he plays when he's a little older, you know, as a parent, I don't want to see him get hurt. I'm not going to keep him from danger completely. Who was it? I think Jordan Peterson who said, never stop your kid from doing something. How was it? Never stop them from doing something dangerous safely, if that makes sense.
Right.
So I don't want to wrap him in bubble wrap, but
my son started playing tackle football. Peter, who you know, very successful, handsome, driven guy, started playing tackle football when he was 8, and I think it's completely safe. I don't think they're heavy enough at that age to hurt themselves. They're not heavy enough till high school to actually get hurt doing this. I coached football for kids that age and all the way up to high school age for years. I don't think but you're the dad, you make the choices. But I'll tell you this, I was arguing with a leftist about football because they hate everything masculine. And the concussion thing in football is a fucking myth. Did you know that girls volleyball has a way higher rate of concussions than boys football? That's a fact from the Center for Disease Control. Look it up yourself. The whole thing about football and concussions, that's all about hating men and what men like and what's good for boys. It's a myth. Tens of millions of us that played high school football, and we're only better for it. We're not all in wheelchairs. We don't have brain problems. Now, guys that go pro, they go Division I football, and they're headbanging linebackers for 15 years, they might have some brain problems because they're 245 pounds running a 4.4 40, crashing into another guy face first. That's not good for you. But 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, I'm not a doctor. I didn't see any problem when I coached them. Verse pro, concussions are serious. Yes, but as I said, they don't happen in kids football nearly as much as you think. That is an anti-masculine myth. Soccer gets a ton of concussions too. And I believe, I could be wrong, I believe it also had more than football. So any advice for my nephew who's in the second year of tackle football? I would just say that he needs to understand that he could be more than he ever thought he could be. And that, being tired, being hurt a little bit, I don't mean injured, I mean hurt, like, ow, that hurt. Being tired and being hurt is temporary. Being a pussy is a life sentence.
Yep.
Okay? Adam Carolla said that. That's not mine. I don't steal jokes or sayings. But being a coward, that's a life sentence. So be safe, be tough.
Yep.
That's
I always tell my son that you're all right. Are you hurt or you injured?
Right.
He'll shake it off. Like today, he's like, oh, I hurt he was running and he like stepped weird or something, hurt the backwards foot. And I saw him standing in line. He was working it out, and I showed him how to put his toes up to stretch the back and all that stuff. He was okay. But yeah, there's definitely a difference between injured and hurt. Injured, you can't go. Hurt, man, you just gotta play through that. So
injured, it don't work no more. If something's broken, doesn't work. That's injured. Hurt, it'll go away.
Yeah.
Always listen to the doctor. YouTube. Always listen to the doctor. We're gonna jump into Superman 1978. But Jericho, I want to talk to you about this first because I don't know if you're staying close to the video game and comic book and movie woke thing, but you're going to love this. There was a video game that came out, about 2 weeks ago called Concord. Sony paid for this through another studio called Firewalk, developed it. 8 years, over $200 million spent.
All right,
and it's a shooter like Call of Duty, and these are the kind of designs they put in it.
Fuck out of here.
And all of them are, and they get worse than this. So if you want to play a game, you could be this fat weirdo here. You could be this tank, independent woman. You could be an old lady. You could be whatever this guy is with the glasses and the afro puffs, and on and on and on and on. This game lasted less than leftovers in your fridge. $200+ million, 8 years of development, and Sony pulled it from its online thing and is refunding everyone who bought it in like 10 days. Because a AAA game, that's the highest level, it's like a Hollywood blockbuster, right? $200 million. These games are expected to sell hundreds of thousands, if not millions of copies, and make the company at least a profit. And at peak on Steam, the online game thing where you buy the game and play it online, at peak on there, it had like 600 players playing.
Oh man, we could do
because
better than
it's
that.
So aggressively ugly. And I made
we
a
can
video
do better than 600 people. Come on.
I made a video tomorrow, and I used the AI generator on Twitter to make this beautiful chick in the middle here. And I said, make me a female space warrior with beautiful hair and a nice face and a pistol, and it just generated that on its own. Behind her is, I'm not sure what that is, but who wants to be that when you're trying to play a video game?
It's like a dude or I don't know what that
I
is.
already went on a 20-minute rant about communists, social justice warriors, feminists, about ugly hates beautiful. We always talk about this on this channel, that when they're destroying Star Wars and they're destroying Ghostbusters, they destroy woke Indiana Jones. Wokeness is about resentment. They hate seeing the beautiful quarterback kissing the beautiful cheerleader. They hate it. Me and you see it and go, how do I get better so I can have a pretty cheerleader girlfriend? You and I, we see excellence, we get inspired, and we want to copy. Resentful people are like, let's destroy beauty. So give me your thoughts on that real quick, and we'll jump into Superman.
Well, first of all, if we're talking about a fighting game, women aren't new to this. They're not breaking new ground. I know they think they're super cool, and they're doing something new, and they're kicking the patriarchy right in the nuts. But there's a game, this little game, I don't know, it was a little mom and pop game called Street Fighter. And there were women in that one. Chun-Li, I think she was the only one. Was Chun-Li the only one? She might have been the only one. And then you had Tekken.
No, they had other hot women. They had Cammy and all these hot women eventually.
Yeah, and then Tekken comes along, and you have the Nadia, and you have all these women who were in there. So that's nothing new. They've already done the women in video games things, and it worked. There were some good characters. Nadia was one of the, like if you're playing the game, she's one of the last few characters. She was a really tough character. Chun-Li was super cool with the super fast, super speed kick and everything. But it's how you do it. And all of those women, all the women in those video games are the female characters or whatever. They were all beautiful. They all had small waists. They were busty, they were pretty, and they were feminine. Number one, right. Chun-Li, she would jump up and down and go hee 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 like that, like very feminine. Nadia, she had the low cut, tight fitting bodysuit, low cut cleavage. So even those things were celebrating women's beauty, not distorting it and telling me that what I know to be beauty. What I know down to my DNA, there's probably a beauty recognition gene inside of a man. I know what beauty is. I've been looking at it and I've been chasing it ever since the first little pubic hair went. So I know what beauty is. They say you have to do something, for 10,000 hours or more to be an expert.
Right.
I'm an expert on beautiful women, years in my field. Don't tell me that round mound of rebound right there is beautiful. You can't tell me if that's a man or a woman. And don't tell me that those bad built former linebackers that you show me in this new game, Concord, that's not beauty. That's not femininity. That's not a woman. That's a woman who's mad, who's trying to be a man. That's not attractive to men, who are probably the majority of your customers. Not a lot of lady gamers out there, mostly dudes. So this is what they get. They wanted to pay $200 million to fail. Go right ahead.
There was a Street Fighter was awesome, and this is what you're talking about. You guys see, there was a character called Mika, and she wore a pretty revealing outfit. You know, this is Mika here, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Mika had a special attack with one of her friends, where the friend would come in while the person she was fighting was in the air, and they would use their butts to smash his head.
Yeah. See?
Now that's funny. Like, geez, calm down.
But look at how they're drawn.
Look at this. What a way to go, huh?
Scantily clad, beautiful bodies. That's what the male audience, the majority of your audience, wants to see. So give it to them. They don't want to see no angry bitch who's going to preach to them, or who looks like who has the resting bitch face all the time.
Jericho,
give me a fun, pretty woman.
When are you gonna fix the sink, Jericho?
No.
Nope. What a way! I'm telling you, the double butt smash on.
What a way to go! What man doesn't want to die like that?
He died doing what he loves.
What man doesn't want to meet his maker via 4 rump cheeks? Come on.
Oh,
man.
That's hilarious.
So
yeah, this stuff, all the woke. I mean,
and that old lady. Nobody wants to beat up an old lady. Nobody wants an old lady in their game. Get out of here with that shit.
And by the way, the statistics and the research show over 70, close to 80% of gamers are men.
Get out of
What
here.
man is sitting there when he's a little boy and grows into a man and enjoys the fantasy, heroic action, says they want to be a one-armed Chinese elderly woman?
Yeah. Why isn't she an old white woman? Why are none of them white women? And who's going to pick those characters? Who is going to pick those 4 characters to play with?
Jericho, if you don't like any of those, you could be these. These are equally terrible.
What is this shit? Nobody's going to pick that. Nobody's going to. That's why Cain, Ryu, Guile, that's why those were the top characters. Buff, awesome looking dudes who can kick ass. That's what a young boy wants to aspire to be. That's what a gamer wants. That's the fantasy the gamer wants to live in, that he's one of these badass dudes. And if you're a male gamer and you pick one of those fat black chicks or that old lady, you're definitely the kind of dude that holds his legs up with his arms around the back of his knees. And
you don't want to be the strong queen up here, Jericho? You don't want to be her?
Pounded. I don't see any strong queens. I see angry, disgusting bitches and an old lady. Get the fuck out of here. You know what? Speaking of the old ladies, they put Martha Stewart on the cover of Sports Illustrated. They put Gail, Oprah's lover, friend, whatever she is, on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Now, fellas, if you're of a certain age, close your eyes and think of what used to be on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Now you put an 80-year-old Martha Stewart and a 69-year-old Gail. I don't care how fine you are. I don't care how beautiful you are. Nobody wants to see an old lady in their swimsuit magazine. It's like alcohol. People will take a shot of liquor and say, it tastes good, but it tastes good for liquor. It doesn't really taste good.
No.
It tastes good for what it is. So they can look good for their age. She can look good for 80 or good for 69. But you're going to put them up against some Eastern European girl that was selling shoes last week, and now she's a supermodel, they can't compare to that. They can't hold a candle to that.
Are
that's
you telling
beautiful,
me?
Period.
Are you telling me that people don't like on the cover of Sports Illustrated? I bought this in 8th grade. Kathy Ireland, 1993 Sports Illustrated. I was the king of the school bus because I had bought this and brought it on the school bus.
That's beauty across the board.
Right.
Yeah, man. The documents that you were carrying around, dude, those things were serious. Who was it? When I was in high school, it was Tyra Banks. I believe she was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. You know, Halle Berry,
right.
Elle McPherson, Cindy Crawford, supermodels.
Right.
Very beautiful women are supposed to grace the cover of Sports Illustrated. And worse than those two Golden Girls that they put on there, they put a Ku Klux Trans member on the cover of Sports Illustrated.
I wonder how it sells. I wonder if this stuff sells really well.
I'm done. Remember Sports Illustrated? They would send you, if you got the right edition or whatever, they'd send you a football phone. A phone shaped like a football. When you hung it up,
they'd send you that VHS tape of all the greatest concussions of all time.
Yeah. Now what do you think they'll send you in the mail? They'll probably send you a dildo or something, or a butt plug, a football butt plug. Man, please. How do you what? What is wrong with you?
Are you telling me you don't want a Cincinnati Bengals dildo?
No, thank you, though. Or any team for that matter, any kind of dildo. No, thank you. There has to be a small group of people who control all of this. The video games, the movies, the Sports Illustrated, because they're all doing the same stupid shit.
I told the audience before you showed up, if you read some communist literature, they have a concept called the long march through the institutions. This is not a secret they keep. And they get into the positions of management and power in the government, in the school, and in entertainment, and also they infiltrate churches. And then they push the resentment culture of communism, wokeism, anti-masculinity, anti-father to destroy the society and subjugate the people and divide and conquer the people. Class-based arguing to keep the populace divided. They do it with money in Russia with the class-based thing, because everyone was the same race in Russia, right? They were all Russians. Mm-hmm. So you can't bring up racism when most everyone is Russian, but what you do is you bring up class. Yeah. Oh, well, they're rich and they own the farm, they own the factory. You should take it from them. You know what I mean? And that's what they do. It didn't work here, I was telling the audience, because the middle class made bank in the 50s and 60s, and they could afford homes and cars and send kids to school just working at the factory. We had a good middle class, so they couldn't do it that way. So that's why they started the race stuff and the the LGBT war with straight and the anti-religion, this and the male versus female. That's why they start that division, because it's divide and conquer. It's the stories all the time with government. So, and I told people the way to fight back is not to just bitch and complain, but to do something about it. If you see a fire, call 911. If you're a fireman and you see a fire, get the damn hose out, right? Yeah. So me and Jericho, we're firemen. We have the ability to create entertainment that is awesome because we have great skills. So we will compete with these people. You guys that don't have the skill, you support us. You become channel members. You buy my comics. You buy Jericho's merch. You subscribe to our channels. You hit the like. You hit the share. That's what you do, or your culture is going to continue to slip away. And that's the truth. It's not my opinion. It's not a maybe. It's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when. And the when was about 50 years ago. It started really slipping away. You're in the middle of it happening. You're in the middle of losing things. Look at how quickly it changed in the last, since Trump got elected about 8 years ago, how quickly Canada and England and all that changed. And people going to jail over Facebook posts. Dude. What? You think that can't happen here? You're crazy if you think that can't happen here in America. You better change your culture, and you change it by making culture like me and Jericho, or supporting it. But if you do nothing, then you'll get those kind of results.
Yeah. And our Constitution, it's still protecting us. It's still up against, that white hot flame of Marxism and communism and feminism. It's still protecting us, but it's getting eroded. It's burning away, slowly, and we have to save it, because if that's gone, that's the only thing that separates us from the rest of the world. Like the guy said in John Wick, he said, rules. Without them, we'd be down there with the animals. And that's true. Without our Constitution, we'd be cast out with the Europes of the world and the Canadas of the world who can't handle it, who can't do anything about it. Justin Trudeau could just say, no more handguns. He could just say this or that, and there's nothing the people can do about it. What do you think about a bunch of Brits are going to do who aren't allowed to have handguns? You can't do nothing. Your government, they got guns. They probably get their guns from us. They got AR-15s, all kinds of shit. They're special response units, not the beat cops, but the government got straps. And if you don't, that's the ultimate way for you to say no. What are you going to do? What is it going
People
to be?
who are
Ruby
guarded
Ridge?
by, just think here for a minute. We'll get to Superman. We'll have some fun. But people out there, you got to think. People who are guarded by weapons don't want you to have them. I'm not even going to expand on that because I don't need to. I want you to think about what that would mean. People who are guarded by deadly weapons don't want the citizens to have the right to have them. Just think about what that would mean.
Just think if we couldn't have them.
Open a history book and find out what that would mean.
Yeah, America is gun culture. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be mad if they changed the stars on the flag for little tiny guns. That's what we are. That's part of our identity. But just think if we didn't have any guns and the government were the only ones that had guns, we couldn't stop them from doing shit.
Right.
We couldn't stop them.
In an act of defiance to the woke, everyone watching right now, stop and hit the share button. Hit the like and hit the share now, and then we'll move on. Do it right now. That's how you defy the communists. And yes, of course it benefits me, but I've earned the benefit. I'm working for you guys. I could have just stayed at Warner Brothers. I'm a minority. They would have just promoted me if I said their BS. Yep. If I just said America sucks and men suck and blah, 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 anti-religion. If I just said the words, I could be a VP there. I could be producing TV shows and movies. You don't have to be talented to do it. And yet I am talented, so I'd get even further. But for you, for my country, for my culture, for my family, I refuse to make their filth. I stepped away. So I just ask, you hit the like, you hit the share. We're going to move this thing forward. The train cannot be stopped. We're moving, baby. Superman the movie. I had never seen it till like a week and a half ago. I'd seen bits. I'd seen clips. I think I saw all of Superman on Superman Part 2 when I was a kid. The one where he gets all drunk and evil in the middle of the movie.
Yeah,
but I'd never seen this first one. And it made me laugh because it reminded me of Dracula by Bram Stoker. And you might say, how?
As in the one in 1992?
As in the book from the 1800s.
Okay.
Which is the
please connect these two.
Well, the connection that made me laugh is that a huge part of the Dracula book is about real estate. It's about Dracula buying some real estate in London and all this stuff. That's like a major plot point. Mm-hmm. And in this book, the villain, spoilers, Gene Hackman, Lex Luthor, he's doing a scam where he's buying all this desert property in California. He's going to launch a nuclear missile at the San Andreas Fault to cause a giant earthquake, make California, half of it, fall into the ocean, thus turning his desert property into beachfront property, making him a quadrillionaire. So I thought, oh, Lex Luthor and Vlad the Impaler, Dracula, they have a little something in common. They're both real estate cheats.
Old Lex Luthor. And shout out to Gene Hackman, who's played some of the most iconic villains. Right. Definitely Lex Luthor. I mean, Superman's villain. Underrated. I think we did that movie. Unforgiven. Man, the bad guy, the villain he plays in that movie, what a piece of
I like him best with Denzel as the submarine captain.
Crimson Tide.
Who is a megalomaniac, arrogant piece of crap. He can do no wrong, and he justifies all of his evil actions. You love to hate him. He's so good at being that guy. Yeah. I think he's great in Unforgiven, but I think he's outstanding in Crimson Tide as you just hate him because he's so full of himself.
Yeah, he's so good at it. He's such a great actor. But man, Gene Hackman, he always in something even more lighthearted, I guess, in the villain realm like this. Because he's not killing anybody or potentially. I guess he is. He is killing people, but it's not violent. Well, I guess it is enough. Anyway, you know what I mean. He's one of the lighter side of villains in this one.
Right. So Superman, it starts off on Krypton. His father, played by the great Marlon Brando, the Godfather, and many other amazing, one of the greatest actors of the last century. Holy cow, he's amazing. Starts off, there's a court case. He is judge, jury, executioner here, and he sentences 3 Kryptonians. This is the alien race that Superman is, these superpowered people. Mm-hmm. He imprisons them for treason or whatever to the Phantom Zone. They go inside this mirror and they go into another dimension that's like a permanent hell prison or whatever. He's also been talking with the other Kryptonian leaders that, hey, I'm a scientist. This is Jor-El, Marlon Brando, Superman's father. Superman is Kal-El.
Super dad.
Right, he's super daddy. And he's telling everyone, hey, according to his research, Krypton's going to blow up soon. They're like, you're full of beans, dude. That's not going to happen. Stop scaring everyone. He's all, I think it's true. I'm putting my son in this spaceship and setting him to Earth. While he's traveling, all my knowledge will be played on this recording that I have, and he'll learn everything, and he'll grow up on the ship, get to Earth as a boy, and just be a savior and stuff like that, and get away from the exploding Krypton. So that's the setup there. A little production note: they were filming Superman 1 and 2 at the same time. That's why General Zod, Ursa, and the other villain go into the Phantom Zone, because they end up being bad guys in the second movie. They're no longer in the first one. So you're like, huh? He puts these guys in the Phantom Zone prison, and then they never come back. That's because that's set up for part 2. They were filming 1 and 2 at the same time, and then they stopped filming 2 to finish 1 because there was all these arguments. I read all this on Wikipedia. And then they finished 2 later, I guess. Anyway, so... And I like how they went with this UV lighting on these outfits, or however they did that. It looks pretty cool.
I like that. I've always liked to see alternate versions of Superman's costume. The classic red, yellow, blue.
Right.
But to see like the white ones, or to see what was it, Superman Red or something like that, where he landed in the Soviet Union.
Right.
So the suit's like black with the red S. I've always liked to see the different variations of it. But this is, number one, the costumes are great. Number two, I like how it takes a long time to get to Earth. All too often you see in a space movie or movie with space in it that, just take a rocket. Earth's right there. It's always, right there. But it would really take a long time. Like from another planet, it would take years to get to Earth. So, and I like the idea of him, playing his voice with recording to teach his son on the way. What a great movie.
Yeah, Kara says she read an article about how Superman is considered to be sort of a Moses type. I suppose Moses was put into the river by his mother to escape treachery, and then was found by the Egyptian princess, who named him Moses, which meant like drawn from the water or found in the water. Moses becomes a great advisor to the Pharaoh, blah, blah, blah. And then he and the Jews are the slaves in Egypt forever. And then Moses leads the people out of slavery in Egypt. The 10 plagues that God sends to Egypt. And then you get the book of Exodus, where they exit Egypt. So yeah, I suppose Superman is sent away like baby Moses, and he's found in a craft. Moses was found in a basket, right, in I believe the Nile River. So I see the analogy there. I do see it.
Hey,
so anyway,
it made me think
Daddy
of the 10 Commandments. That was a big movie.
Sure, 10 Commandments is fantastic. Charlton Heston, holy cow. Parents send him away, and promptly the planet starts to blow up. I can see the planet blowing up, and Jor-El's like, I told you guys.
Told you. Told you.
A big beam falls on him and paralyzes him. He's laying there. He's like, I told you. And the other guy's like, oh, sure, rub it in.
Oh, Stephen Hawking, I told you. Yeah, man, that sucks. He's like, now I got to die here. We should have been on a spaceship cruising through the cosmos right now. Now we're going to die. Idiots.
Bam.
But saved his son. That undying, unconditional love from a parent, where you would put yourself in harm's way without a second thought, as long as your child is safe. Bam. Ultimate example here. Talk about sending your kid away. Send him to another planet.
Right.
And luckily, he lands literally in front of this nice family.
Pa and Ma Kent. He lands near the farm of Pa and Ma Kent, who were childless. And they see his craft skid mark and crashed in. And then they go up, and a little boy crawls out because he's Superman, so he's invulnerable. He doesn't get hurt by these crashing spaceship. And then he helps them with the car and all that, because there's a flat tire, and the dad's trying to jack it up, and then the little boy lifts the car with one hand, and the mom swaddles him with some clothes and stuff like that.
And you can see he's like, what, 3 or something like that? So it took him a few years to get to Earth, and so he wasn't a baby. And then boom, fast forward to high school. You can tell it's in the 50s. The cars and the clothes and everything like that. And even as a young man, I think he was putting on a little bit for the Clark Kent persona or character or whatever. But even in even in school, he was still kind of not a nerd, but definitely not I'm Superman, not telling people that, but going around acting like, knowing what he could do and just being a dick.
It really bothers me that he was like the equipment manager and not on the football team with his Superman powers.
Right?
If I were Superman, there is no way I could have resisted playing football with my extra skills. And I wouldn't
Yeah.
turn them all the way up. So people are like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? He's like running faster than, Olympians.
Yeah. Use some.
I turned them up enough to
Yeah.
just beat everyone, but just seem plausible,
But what are you going to do now? Yeah, you got the wheels turning. So if you are a star quarterback, small town America, it's probably everything. It's probably one of those towns where football is everything. Friday nights, Old Man Johnson's general store closes at 4:00 so you can make it to the game. The sheriff's on the sidelines. It's probably a big deal. So if you're the man, probably the star quarterback, of the team, definitely. It's the number one spot. What are you going to do with all these chicks come crawling around? Because you can't bust out with the super dick on them.
Well, if you're raised right by your parents, you got your dad in the home and the mom there, they're going to teach you, hey, son, we all love the ladies. You got to control yourself.
Mm-hmm.
This is somebody's future wife. You're responsible. You got your life ahead of you. You need to go to school. You need to become a man. You don't need to become a father at 15, 16. You don't need to do that.
Gabe, do we promote and speak the truth here on Double Impact?
I'm just saying you try to raise boys and girls that way.
No, I'm just saying we believe in speaking and spreading the truth, correct?
You're talking to someone who became a father at 18. You think I don't know? You think I don't know how it is?
Yeah. As soon as your parents tell you that shit and you walk out of the room, hey,
right.
Fuck that kid. Hey, down here. Yeah.
Listen,
it is.
I'm tall.
Dick. Fuck
tall.
That teacher.
He's a varsity football player. Funny, good looking.
Yeah.
I did not struggle with women growing up.
Hey, Mrs. Jackson, she said you need to raise your grade from a C- to an A. You saw how she was looking at you.
But teachers, chicks in school, it'd be very tough to not bust out the super dick.
Right. Yeah. So you need a regimented life. You need a very strong parents keep you out of trouble.
That's right.
Out of trouble.
You little shit. Yeah. Doc Savage, that's a great point.
Hold on. Slander in the chat. The Las Vegas, well, I should say the Los Angeles, Las Vegas Raiders can't even find a fucking home that they could stay in.
Nobody wants them.
The horrible Raiders, who are going to not only finish last in the AFC West, they're going to finish last in the NFL. The Raiders, one of the best stadiums in the NFL, one of the worst teams, don't have a quarterback, Gardner Minshew. He's trying to, that's Diesel's a fan of this joke of a team. Broncos could use a Superman for this upcoming 2-15 season. You got that backwards now. They got Bo Nix, rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year. Book it now.
Already?
And, oh yeah, I'm calling it right now. Offensive rookie of the year. They've got the best cornerback in the league. Patrick Surtain signed a $92 million deal this morning. He's the highest paid corner in the league. They've got running backs. They got an embarrassment of riches at wide receiver. They are a sleeper team because they've been bad for a while. They're back, baby. And they're going to give the Raiders a bare bottom spanking. So good 2 times this year. So nice, they're going to do it twice. And I think, Diesel, I'm going to talk to my friend Dean Cain. You may have heard of him. He knows people in Las Vegas. He lives there. Maybe I can get some real good tickets and go down and watch the Denver Broncos spank the shit out of your pathetic Raiders live and in person from the 50-yard line. I'll send you a pic. I'll text it to you.
Dang.
How's that sound? How dare you? How dare you?
Gabe said that the Raiders' hind parts are going to look like the back of a horse, like back when the Indians, they put those handprints all over the fucking ass of their horse. That's what the Raiders are going to do.
Look at this slander. Diesel, that is not true. No gang took over the Broncos in their stadium. Get out of here. It's not true. What are you talking about, gangs? You live like out east of LA. What are you talking? You live near San Bernardino and all that, don't you?
Dude, San Bernardino's fucking crazy.
Right. Did you know San Bernardino? I think it's one of the most dangerous cities in America.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
For those
up there, near where I live in Stockton. Stockton, I think, is number 10 in America for the most fucking dangerous city.
Yeah, Gabe using his super connections. Well, if you got them, use them.
What you gotta do. That's not what you know.
As they say. I've been to that Raider Stadium 2 years ago for the college all-star game. What a stadium. We got amazing VIP seats, my son and I, down right behind the players' bench, but there's a big lounge with TVs, 2 long buffet lines, drinks, food unlimited. It was insane. I didn't even know I had those tickets. My wife bought my son and I some tickets for the East-West Shrine game in February. So the college players go and play for the NFL scouts. And nobody goes to these games. You go to the stadium's like 90% empty, so the tickets are cheap. So for like $400 each, we got tickets where if you went to an NFL game, these are like $3,000-$4,000 tickets a piece or something, or even more. And in Vegas, more, because the Vegas, they sell out all the time. It's, so. Let's see. Doc Savage laughs. Oh, because that's Cali gang that took over that motel. That's funny. Diesel says, I tell you once a week where I live and you still cannot remember. I don't know. It's Murrieta, San Bernardino. It's all the same.
All fucking, for me, it's just all LA.
It's all hot. It's all hot and halfway to Vegas. That's how I look at it.
You live in LA, people.
Diesel, I go through there at 80 miles an hour on my way to Vegas and I don't stop. That's what it is to me.
All that shit. It's just Los Angeles. When you grow up north, as far north, because I'm hours. I'm like 8 or 9 hours north of LA. So probably 9 or 10 or 11 from San Diego. California is fucking gigantic. I'm way hours and hours away from them. And when you're way up here, it's just San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego. That's what California is.
Right. Well, I get weirded out when people call LA Southern California. Like, no, there's another 140 miles.
But it's pretty
called San
far
Diego.
south.
San Diego. Well, you're not the southern part if there's something beneath you. San Diego is a major thing, like the 8th biggest city in America. It's a major place, and it is a whole different thing from LA. They're nothing alike. There is 140, 120 miles between LA and San Diego, and there's nothing between them at a certain point. You have Camp Pendleton, which is the main Marine Corps training place, and it's like 30 miles of wilderness on the 5 freeway, the coastal freeway. Once you pass Oceanside, California, that's the northernmost part of San Diego, there's nothing for like 30 miles before you hit San Juan Capistrano, and now you're in Orange County. So no, San Diego is walled off from LA. LA is not Southern California. LA is hell on earth. That's what it is.
It sure is.
LA wishes it was Southern California.
Smell A. We call it Smell A.
Ugh, LA. I freaking hate Los Angeles so much.
Yeah, there's no desire to go to Los Angeles.
I only go there because my daughter does stand-up comedy there in Hollywood at the Comedy Store and stuff. That's the only reason I go to LA. Otherwise, as the kids say, miss me with that bullshit.
Yeah, fuck LA.
So,
Smell A.
Yeah.
So anyway, Super Dick here. He's a good kid though. And that is weird that they made him some little fucking equipment manager. But yeah, he's down there fucking around. He kicks a ball.
He punts it 3 counties over.
Yeah, and what happened? Where's that ball going to land?
Right.
Like, that thing's coming down hot.
Then he outruns a train.
Yeah.
On his way.
Is somebody going to be like, I swear to God, I saw this kid running past the fucking train. So he does have some fun, as you would as a young, as an adolescent. You're not going to exercise. You'll exercise some restraint because you don't want to get caught, blow up your whole spot, fuck it up for your parents. But yeah, when you have an opportunity, you're definitely going to hit that release valve and let some of that out. Fucking have some fun. So that was
right here after the football practice. I don't think it was a game. It was a practice. This girl who I think might be Lana Lang. There's Lois Lane and Lana Lang. I think it's supposed to be Lana Lang, another high school girl that liked him. It's kind of like a Betty and Veronica situation. She's inviting him to go listen to records at so-and-so's house. And then one of the football guys comes up and like, leave her alone, twerp. She's coming with me. And they jump in that convertible Woody back there and they drive off.
Dweebs.
He finishes putting away the jerseys and the cones and the footballs. That's just sad, man.
Yeah.
And then the girl, the girl's kind of disappointed they leave. So then he kicks the ball, runs faster than a speeding train, able to leap a building in a single
more
bound.
powerful than a locomotive.
Right, they get all that.
A speeding bullet, and then able to
right.
a tall building.
Right. So yeah. So then he beats them to their destination. They're like, how'd you get here, Clark? And then he's, hold on. Someone is here. Oh. Oh, okay. All right. I can see. All right, have a good time. Sorry, my son was going somewhere. He just wanted to come and say bye.
What up,
I thought I heard some footsteps behind me. So, yeah. So anyway, I had my father-son moment with my son just now, and now he's having one with his. You know?
Yeah,
And,
he's the kids are like, how'd you get here so fast, Clark? He's like, how do you think, bitch? Well, he didn't spell it, unfortunately. But he says what's up to his pops. Hey, Dad, whatever, I'm gonna do my homework. I'm gonna have some, fresh baked chocolate chip cookies and fresh squeezed from the cow's udder milk. I'm gonna do my homework and maybe listen to a radio show. Real wholesome, all-American kid. And then you can see his dad holding onto his arm, having a heart attack. Then his dad dies, and very sad. His mom, Mary, what's her name?
Martha.
That's what it is.
Martha and John are the parents. Real quick, Lana in this movie plays Martha Kent in the 90s, early 2000s. I think it was early 2000s TV show Smallville. So that redheaded girl plays the mom 30 years later on TV. The little baby in the very beginning, the baby that's put in the spaceship, I think my wife met him like 2 weeks ago because in Dean Cain's movie, God's Not Dead, in God We Trust, I think it's part 5 of the God's Not Dead series. That movie comes out in theaters like in a week and a half. My wife went to a premiere screening like 3 weeks ago, and the guy that played the baby at the beginning of this movie that they put in the spaceship to come to Earth, he was in the God's Not Dead movie. So he was that baby. Now he's like, a 40-something-year-old man or whatever. So I think that's fascinating, In
a movie made by Superman.
Right. Crazy.
Cool.
In baseball news, the Tigers are up 5-3 over the Padres in the bottom of the 5th.
The Padres
have been playing the best baseball in the league for like the last month. They are red hot.
Tigers are up on the Padres.
Tigers are up 5-3 in the bottom of the 5th.
Bottom of the 5th. Let's go, Padres.
I'm not a big baseball guy. I think going to a baseball game is one of the most amazing things.
Yes. But listening,
I don't think I've seen a game of baseball on TV in 10 years. I tell
you what, man. World Series that a team you support or your team is in, listening to that on the radio, there's something different about. I don't care if it's just a regular season game. Something different about listening to a game, no matter what sport it is, on the radio. I loved listening to 49er games on the radio. I almost prefer it over watching it on TV. Of course, that's the best. But man, if you got a road trip, 3 years ago, my brother-in-law and I were coming from the front site training in Pahrump, Nevada, and we started our trip. We had 8 hours to get home, and about a half an hour into our trip, the 49ers, the Monday night 49ers versus Rams 2021-2022 season comes on. We listened to the whole thing, the pregame, the game, post-game wrap-up, because we had 8 hours. So it was really cool. But if you have a trip you're on, you're driving, especially if you're by yourself and this is your team and you're a big time fan, man, listening to that game on the radio is the fucking best.
Diesel says his mother lives in Pahrump. Pahrump is a city 45 an hour west.
You want to call it that?
You know that Pahrump, the county it's in, is that's the biggest county, I think in America or something like that. Something like geographic. It has I don't know if it's the city or this has so many acres because it's so spread out and huge.
Man, it's
I've been
the surface of the moon out there.
Yeah, I've been there once to check it out.
A lot of sand dunes and just open area.
If you like cactus and rocks? If you like cactus and rocks, I have got a treat for you.
You better sit on a tarp because you are going to be going off like a sprinkler because that's all that's out there. And it's one of those places where you drive through and you wonder, how do people get shit out here? Where do you go to shop? Where do you go to eat? Who's out here? And it's a bunch of hills have eyes, weirdos out there. Not Pahrump, I'm just saying headed to there when you're just out in Barstow, the middle of it.
I think the desert, the American Southwest, the desert between where I live, the very, very tippy corner. I live as far south and west as you could be and still be in America, basically. But between here and Las Vegas fascinates me. So much mystery, so much history. That rhymes, and you know it rhymes. But driving through that, like you say, Jericho, who lives out here? Why? I think so many people live out in those places because of military. There's so much military. There's the March Air Army bases out there. There's all kinds of secrety stuff out there, allegedly. I think that's why people end up out there. And plus, there's tons of mining. There's tons of mining in the desert.
But
here in
where do
Nevada,
they go?
California.
If you
But
got
they
to
got to live
groceries,
nearby. You're not going to drive 3 hours every day to go work in the mine or go work at the air base. So they
That's
got to
fucking
live out
crazy.
there. And then you get people living in places where it's 120, 110. Like, oof, my God.
no
Heidi
trees.
Fleiss, the Hollywood madam, lives in Pahrump. That makes
Yeah,
sense
no.
because all of the cat houses in Pahrump.
Yeah.
Jeez.
But Pahrump, it's just a little town. You could definitely see it. Maybe 150 years ago, as a little, got a saloon and.
Says it was originally a mining town. I've been to Pahrump once. You
looks
said you've
like
been
fun.
there once for a gun school. I went out there with my wife because a few years ago we were thinking of moving out of here and going to Vegas. But Pahrump is affordable, like really affordable. So we went out there and looked, and it wasn't for us. But it was funny. There are some famous brothels there. And we were driving down this long road, and all of a sudden we see a sign, a big billboard on the side of the road. And it says in huge writing, some church paid for it, adultery is a sin. And it was on the way, apparently, to the whorehouse, on the way to the brothel. So I thought, I bet that sign really has worked on some people. Some married guy's been thinking of going to the whorehouse. And he's like, I'm going, damn it.
Once you're that far, that dude's not even in control.
He gets a few beers in himself to like work up the nerve. And then he's driving down the road and he sees this sign, and then his conscience gets the better of him.
Nah, if you could have a camera there and catch the expression on the face of every man passing that billboard, you'll see him just staring. He's not even in control. It's on autopilot.
Yeah, fuck that sign. You know where to go. Head north.
Right? It's over because that dude.
I would like
the
to
upper
think
brain
the sign works. Don't ruin it for me. I'd like to think the sign works.
As they pulled the plug out of the wall, the upper brain is shut down for the night.
I would like to think it works. I would hope it works.
Do that, man. Do that.
Who reads billboards on a drive to a brothel?
Anything to keep you awake.
See billboards when you're driving. How can you not see them? They're gigantic.
Anything to keep you awake.
We were just driving around the town. I see this billboard. It's like adultery is a sin. I'm like, that's an interesting billboard. Like, oh, that's why this is here. So
the fucking whores are right around the corner.
Right. So I wonder how that goes. Like
billboard.
Do people negotiate when they go there? Like, hey, listen, you think I made a money? Like, do they?
No, it's probably a flat rate. It depends on what you want to do, who you want. They'll let you know right up front. You're gonna handle the business first. I'm sure there's not a lot.
What if there was a guy, he didn't want anything. He didn't want anything risque, but his wife was argumentative, and he just told the girl to let him win an argument with her.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to do anything.
So they make up a fake argument, and then the girl lets you win the argument, and then he pays and leaves. Then he pays.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But do you have to go to a whorehouse for that? That's the thing. It's the other amenities offered on the property that's the issue. I'm sure a woman, wouldn't care if you paid someone to let you win an argument, but does it have to be next door to, all kinds of weird shit going on?
I don't know.
So, cool.
Think about what you think about. Says I've been to Jackpot before. I don't know what that means. I don't know where Jackpot is.
Is that like a casino there?
I hope it's a casino.
And make sure you think about it on a cheese diet.
All right. So it was mentioned earlier in the movie that Pa Kent has a heart condition. He needs to be careful, blah, blah, blah. And then they kind of cut to later, and Superman, Clark Kent, young teenager, finds Pa Kent laying on the ground between the house and the barn, dead of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Dead of a heart attack.
Very sad.
And Tudos says, how did we end up on this subject? Oh, Diesel told us that his mother lives in Pahrump. So we started talking about what Pahrump has for people to see. And I was relating that I've been to Pahrump once and saw a hilarious billboard when I was there.
Yeah. Cheap real estate, whores.
There was a beautiful lake in the center of town that people park their RVs there. It was a pretty big lake. It was artificial maybe. And people park RVs there and camp. I think desert camping would be nice and maybe in the late fall and the winter. I doubt it would be any good in the spring or the summer. Some people love that heat. I'm not with that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was people, because they take all their dune buggies and those ATVs and shit out there, and they'll just camp. They'll camp out there and just ride those fuckers all day.
I got a neighbor. He's youngish. He looks like he's in his late 30s or 40s, but he must be retired somehow. Every Thursday, he's packing up a giant RV and his little tow hauler thing that he drives a dune buggy into the thing. Like every weekend, this dude is going out to the desert and driving dune buggies. but he's leaving like every Thursday. So I'm like, so he must not have a normal job Monday through Friday. Good for him. You know, he has a couple RVs, some big trucks. He has the dune buggy, and he's always fixing the dune buggy in the garage too. The dune buggy's always up on blocks, and the engine's like taken apart and the wheels off. He's always tinkering with it. He fixes it up, and he goes to the desert and breaks it, and then he brings it back and fixes it again, I guess.
Yeah, so, it's the classic man and his hobby.
Right, you know? Damn right. Kara says, bring on the cold. Listen, Kara, who are you talking to? It got up to 80 here in San Diego today. I was very upset about it. Blistering heat for San Diego. It's terrible. It's terrible. How was it up in your neck of the woods, Jericho?
102. And tomorrow will be 105.
Well, we got our last little heat wave of the year. The hottest weather we've had in San Diego all year. 84 tomorrow. 89 Thursday, 90 Friday. But then it starts to go back down from there. And it'll be back into the 70s by next week. So we got about 5 days of hot weather in San Diego. We haven't had 90 all year, so it's going to get 90. Now, that's for San Diego proper. I'm closer to the ocean, so I'm usually 5 to 10 degrees colder than that. But I think it hit 80 today. I didn't like it.
Let's see. It's 94 here right now.
Oh, it's a blistering 76 right now at my house.
Oh, man, you poor thing. Open a window.
All right. So they buried Pa Kent. It's very sad. Yeah. And he's a man now. He's graduated high school. He's a grown man. You know, they jump in time a little bit, and he's going to go off to New York and all that. Or Metropolis. He goes in the barn. He finds some stuff buried for him. It's from his father, his real father, Jarrell. And it looks like kryptonite, but it's not. It's a crystal he's supposed to take to a place. When he takes it to Antarctica, the South Pole, I suppose, and he throws it, somehow it's able to generate him the Fortress of Solitude, which in the Superman comics is exactly what it sounds like. It's a big crystal fortress that he has in Antarctica, I believe. And in the comics, he has this key that's like 300 feet long, so only he can lift it, and he sticks the giant key in the door and unlocks it. That's what they do in the comic book. I don't know if they do it in the movie, but I've never seen it in the movie. Maybe they do. So he says bye to Mama. He's on his way to the big city. Oh, he goes up to Antarctica first or whatever, or down, I guess. And then then he's off to the big city. But first he does this.
Right, and he stays there for a few years.
Right, because he learns all kinds of lessons from his father there.
Yeah.
All kinds of knowledge. He was getting knowledge when he was a baby flying through space, but now he a video his father that can interact. So it's sort of like an AI, talks to him and tells him, Kal-El, my son Kal-El, this and that and the other, and truth and justice and being brave, and telling him all his values and what he needs to do and how he needs to help, be a force for good and all this stuff. And he gets a big lesson there, And there's his Fortress of Solitude, which I think looks really cool. There's a cave in Mexico that's real, Jericho, and it looks like this. Hundreds of feet below the surface they found. Quartz crystals, very hot. As you go down lower in altitude, it gets hotter and hotter. The crystals are even bigger than this. I'll find it. Give me 1 second. I'm going to find the Mexican crystal cave.
That could mean something totally different. The Mexican crystal cave.
Image search. Mexican crystal cave. These are real photos. Imagine this. Look at this. Open image in new tab. Okay. Look at that. How insane is that? Look how small the people are to the crystals. And apparently it's like 120 degrees down there or something. That's wild. Yeah. I'd love to go see something like that.
Maybe that was the inspiration.
Could have been. But this was discovered recently, like in the last 10, 20 years, I believe.
This is what is Fortress of Solitude.
Unless the people that made this movie were time travelers, I don't think they knew about it.
Actually, they couldn't time travelers. Anything's possible.
Wouldn't that be hilarious if when he got to the Fortress of Solitude and the AI of his father starts talking to him, it talks like this. Hello, you are my son, and you are from the planet Krypton.
Listen up, I have some crucial statistics that you're going to need to take with you on your journeys, son. Like, Dad can. He's like, yeah, I changed his voice. I shouldn't.
Doc Savage says you should see the size of the crystals in Nevada. I was in Arizona, I think in a city called Turquoise, and they mine so much turquoise there. And I went into a turquoise gift shop, and like this nice lady, very hippy dippy lady worked there. And ended up talking me and my wife into buying a turquoise ring for my wife. You know, but yeah, they talked about the turquoise mine that was nearby and blah, blah, blah. And it was, I think it was in Arizona. Yes, because we drove out to the Grand Canyon. And on the way back, we stopped in a place called Turquoise. That's right.
Yeah, Grand Canyon's on the list.
Have you ever been there?
No, unfortunately, but I do want to go and take my family.
I went there in 2021. When everybody was locked down, it was the greatest time in the world to go on vacation. I went to so many places at that time. It was awesome. It was just awesome. Let's see. I know I can find this. I know I can find the Grand Canyon. Let's see. I'm going to dig for it here if you want.
I want to go on that little thing that you walk out on.
Oh, I did that. That's what I'm looking for. Oh, here it is. No. That's not it. This is like a day later.
That looks crazy.
Where is it?
Was it scary?
No. Well, I'm not afraid of heights. I'm not afraid of airplanes or anything like that. I could understand how it might be scary for some people. Twas not scary for me. There were people shaking that would not step directly on it. But I just figure it's been there for 20-something years.
Yeah.
Obviously, these people know what they're doing. But here's a picture of me and my wife sitting on it. And you're 2,500 feet above that dirt you see below me.
Oh,
so it plays trick with your mind. You're standing on that glass looking down, and it's a huge U-shaped glass bridge. And when you look down, it messes with your mind because you're not used to being up that high ever. You know what I mean? So it's not scary. Man, I'm glad I've lost fucking weight. Jeez, fuck. I'm in the 250s as of this morning. I'm like 305 in that picture or more. During COVID, I gained weight during the lockdown because people were, not doing as much, and we were cooking so much at home. I was doing pizza Fridays every Friday night because I'm a pretty good cook. Make my own dough, make my own everything, ferment the dough all day and then make like 6 pizzas at night and watching movies. And, but yeah, that was like 2,500 feet above the canyon. And we took I paid for the touristy picture package. Yes, I did. So
that's cool.
But it was fun.
I love to see they have a bridge like that in China, and to see the videos of the people just completely freaking out, like crawling and shit, crying, and they're trying to pull them out there. That shit is so funny.
Right. You come a long way, bruv. That's hard to do. Well, thank you. I'm 258 as of this morning, and I'm trying to get back to my high school weight around 220. So just another 30-something pounds to go. I can do that. I can do it. I fasted yesterday. So easy to fast until about 3 p.m. And then all you can think of is food the rest of the day. But the way I help myself do it is, as a Christian, fasting is also a religious thing. You fast and you pray, and the fasting is a sacrifice. So then you're like, I'm guilt tripped into not messing up my sacrifice. I prayed, said I would fast, told God I would fast. So now if I eat, I'm going to feel terrible. So that has helped me when I want to fast. The longest fast I ever did was nearly 3 days, but I cracked like 2 days and almost 3 because I was getting like dizzy, not dizzy, but like weak. I was getting real like just laying on the couch because it had been almost 3 days. So I drove to the gas station. I drove to the gas station and bought a thing of orange juice and drank it because it has all that sugar and vitamins and stuff, and like instantly came back. So
best orange juice you ever had.
Right. So we cut to so he's been at the Fortress of Solitude learning from his AI father. And now he comes here to the Daily Planet. We meet Perry White. He's the hard ass newspaper editor. I want this. I want that. I want it on my desk yesterday. Blah, blah, blah. They really play that up. That's fun. The boss. And he's telling Lois Lane here that she's got the new kid. He's coming in. He's a reporter. Blah, blah, blah. You're going to take him around. You're going to show him the ropes. And it's a really fun thing. And I had heard Christopher Reeves was good as Superman, but I'd never seen this movie. Again, I saw part 2 when I was like 6 years old, so I don't remember it. I was blown away by how good he is as Superman. And I realized I don't think I've ever seen a Christopher Reeve movie. What other movies did he make besides Superman that are famous? I couldn't even name one.
I don't know about famous, but he did one with Morgan Freeman.
I'm sure he was in a million movies, but what other like iconic movies did he make?
I don't think any. I don't think of any other movie when I think Christopher Reeves than Superman. Period.
Right. So his charm, his charisma in this movie is off the charts. He's so likable. And he's a little, dorky as Clark Kent. And he actually rolls his shoulders and gets small.
Mm-hmm.
And when
excuse me, sorry.
When he turns into Superman, he spread. Let me show you real quick. I'm not saying I'm an actor like him, but he's kind of like this, and he's smaller and a little, and then he'll, shoulders pop out, chest pops out, chin's out, and he's got a devil may care smile, and he just becomes alpha when he turns into Superman. It's really, really fun to watch because it sounds like a gimmick, but when he does it, it's like, oh wow, that's effective.
No, he's great. Cool. He's the Sean Connery of Superman movies.
Oh, Jericho. He went to Juilliard with Robin Williams.
Oh, Juilliard.
I've heard that's a good school for the arts. I've heard it's pretty good.
It's up there. If you have to. If everything else falls through, go to Juilliard.
Right. It's your safety school?
Yeah, it's my safety net school. My third favorite.
Right. And then, of course, there's Jimmy Olsen, the plucky teenage photographer.
Mm-hmm. Gee golly willikers, Clark.
There's Toodlesgay saying there's some other movies he's been in. Yeah, I've never heard of these movies, but he was outstanding in this. He really was outstanding. I think he is. I'm going to say something for people who love this movie. Don't get mad at me. I don't think this would have been a good movie without him. The plot. I know it's a comic book movie.
Ew.
I don't like the plot. I don't like launching a nuke and sinking half California. It's too.
And then
that's too goofy to me.
We'll get to it later, but how he deals with the earthquake and the consequences of the earthquake, I'm not a big fan of either.
That feels like a bit of a first draft.
Yeah.
As a writer myself, when you write a plot, you just write. It might be good, it might suck, it might be a little bit of both. But you just get the plot out of you. Just get it on paper, get it in the computer. Just write the plot. Don't be concerned that it's the greatest or worst thing or whatever. Then you rewrite. I don't know who said it, probably a very famous writer, but writing is rewriting. That's what it is. You rewrite and it's like a diamond. You just polish it and polish it and polish it. Ideas are easy. Executing the ideas as a writer, that's where the skill comes in. I feel like that ending, dealing with the aftermath of the earthquake, I feel like that's the first draft. I don't feel like that's been refined. I think he makes this movie outstanding. I think with a lesser actor, this is a dud of a movie. I really think so. He is that good in this. I think he saves what would have been a bad movie. I do.
Yeah, but it can't be first draft and go. It can't be. And this is evidence of that.
Right. So he's being shown around the office. He's been shown the ropes on Lois Lane. She's going to go check something out. And when they go into an alley, he gets introduced to New York, Metropolis.
Hey.
And a criminal pulls out his revolver. Give me the purse, lady. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Give me your purse and your wallet there, bucko.
Right. Yeah. And
she's crafty. She drops the purse on the ground to distract the thief. And then she gives him a Bruce Lee right in the face with her foot.
That's right. And the guy, he steps in front of the guy, pulls his gun. He's like,
you fucking broad.
He pulls his gun. He pushes her behind him. The guy shoots. He snatches the bullet out of the air. But then she doesn't see that. And then he falls to the ground. And the guy, did he get away?
Yeah, the guy runs off.
Yeah, the guy gets away. And so, oh my gosh, Clark, are you okay? Are you shot? And he's like,
oh, no, I think I just fainted.
She's all fainted, you pussy. But she, in real life, like if that was my woman and she fucking did that, dropped her purse and kicked that dude, I would be so mad at her because you fucking totally escalated the situation. Should have let me handle it, you fucking dummy.
Now, Toodlesgay brings up a good point. This is how Superman and Lex Luthor were in yes, the comics were outrageously hyper ridiculous. Mm-hmm. They did not get into the somber, overly serious realism until the late 80s going into the 90s. And now comic books, not mine, now comic books from the mainstream are just not fun. They're overly woke and they're overly pretentious. And it almost feels like the people making them are a bit embarrassed of it. It's like, oh, that's too goofy. You know what I mean? Like comic books are crazy. They're supposed to be a little bit crazy. So that is a good defense, Toodlesgay. The origin of comics is outrageous stuff. That is true.
I remember you say the late 80s into the 90s. That's exactly true because my brother, he was 4 years older than me. And I remember him, he was into comic books, and I remember him bringing home, there was this comic book store, and they had these little black plastic bags to put the comics in. And I remember him bringing home the issue that was, what year did that come out? The Death of Superman.
That was like 92.
I was like, what the What do you mean the death of Superman? So that shook me to my comic book core a little bit because I didn't think that was possible. At that point, we only had the first three four. Weren't there four? There 4 or 3 Supermans.
Right.
I know that maybe it's 3.
The death of Superman. Doomsday, the villain, breaks Superman's back over his knee and kills him after a long fight. Doomsday is like this unstoppable force. This was
made of the same stuff that Superman is made of,
right? And he's able to just annihilate Superman. But it's a marketing gimmick. The late 80s, the late 80s into the early 90s,
decade.
The late 80s.
You know about the aliens?
Into the early 90s was the comic book boom, like the housing boom of the early 2000s. Mm-hmm. No quality, and everything was selling like hotcakes. People were becoming millionaires left and right. People who could not draw, people who could not write, everything could sell because it was like the Beanie Baby craze. It was like NFTs. It was like the tulips in is that Sweden or the Netherlands, or that tulip thing in the 1800s where people went crazy and lost all their money. It was a craze. It was a bubble. It was like the .com bubble. Comic book stores were everywhere. First issues were coming out, glow in the dark cover with the free trading card in a poly bag and blah, blah, blah. So much gimmicky stuff. The death of Superman was a gimmick. They put many comic books, they put them in a plastic bag to keep them in mint condition. But the scam of putting it in a bag was, well, then you'd buy 2. Because 1, you'd rip the bag open to read it. 2, you'd leave in the bag, so it would be in mint condition in this bag. And it was all marketing gimmicks. And the Death of Superman is a marketing gimmick. I'm not saying it's a bad comic. It's got some amazing creators on it. Dan Jurgens, Jerry Ordway, guys I've worked with. I've colored their work. And but definitely it's a money grab, because why not? That's what the industry was in the early 90s. It was the biggest time in the history of American comic books. And boy, was there a crash. Did you know Marvel Comics, the powerhouse, the Avengers, Spider-Man, did you know they declared bankruptcy in 1996? Did you know that? They got bought by their own company that made their action figures. Toy Biz bought Marvel back then. That's how bad comics crashed after the boom, just like the housing boom, just like the .com boom, because it's a house of cards. Booms are always crap like that. I'm very thirsty and I'm out of water. If you want to go forward and explain the bad guys a little bit, I'll leave you with the henchman here and Lex Luthor. If you want to explain that, I'll be back. Just got to fill this thing back up. Be right back.
Yeah, so Lex Luthor and his henchmen, they're being tracked by these cops, and one of them is Joel Silver. Is that his name? Hold on, let me look it up. The guy, did he produce or direct? Hold on, the Lethal Weapon movies. And there was Superman Part 4, Quest for Peace. That movie fucking sucked. So let me see if I got the right guy. But he's one of the cops. No, I got this all wrong. But anyway, there's these 2 cops, and they're following one of Lex Luthor's henchmen. Lethal Weapon, boom. Let's see. Richard Donner. No, not Richard Donner. That's a director. Let's see. Oh, I got a point to all this. Let's see. Joel. Yeah, it is Joel Silver. No.
What are we talking about?
What's the guy's name who is the captain in Lethal Weapon?
I don't know.
Because he's also fucking. Hold on a second. Hold on. I gotta make this. I gotta finish this and make this make sense. Steve. No. Was that him?
No idea.
Steve. Okay, so Steve Kahan, he's one of the cops in this movie that's following Lex Luthor's henchman. He was also the captain in Lethal Weapon.
Okay.
But they're tailing these guys in a terrible way through New York City. I mean, they're way too close. That guy on the right. They're way too close to him. They're sticking out like a sore thumb, but they follow him down into the subway. And that guy who's in the subway that they're following is another one of those great character actors from the 80s. He was also in a more recent movie. What was it? The Shooter with Mark Wahlberg. He played one of the senators, one of the bad guys. But Ned Beatty, that's his name. They're following Ned Beatty down into the subway. And then because it was a trap, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Ned Beatty was knew those guys were following him because of the terrible job that they were doing. And Lex Luthor knew all the time. What happened after that? Down in the subway?
Yeah, one of the guys gets hit by a train or whatever. He gets boxed in.
Yeah, yeah, that was fucking weird. I was like, damn, that was kind of dark.
Yeah, but they're tailing him. They're trying to figure out what Lex Luthor and his goons are up to. Why did Lex Luthor and his goons live underground?
That's what I was trying to remember.
I don't think that was ever explained. I don't think it was ever explained.
Yeah, because I don't remember why.
Yeah.
This is where he's telling him about his classic bad guy telling you the whole plan, telling somebody the whole plan.
All right.
And that's what that's what they're doing. He did that. He tested it, and the Daily Planet's like nuclear missiles, test confirmed. That's what it was, because it caused like an earthquake or some shit. And so he's telling his plan to secret hideout. Okay, that's what it was. All right, thank you, Doctor.
Okay, I must have missed them saying. I mean, obviously it's a secret hideout underground. He's not rooming.
Very nice too, by the way. Nice
Ninja Turtles down here.
Nice library and everything. How they get all those books down there? But
It's
he's
a
explaining what he
supervillain
wants to do.
layer. No explanation needed. It's a supervillain layer. All
That's
right.
true.
I'm just saying, if I was a supervillain, I'd pick a layer that smelled better. I don't want to be in the sewers.
Now everybody's dookies fucking flowing like a river outside your door.
Ugh. Did you know that Imperial Beach, that is the southernmost beach of San Diego, it is the beach that borders Tijuana, Mexico. It has been closed by the government for over 1,000 days.
Damn.
That beach. Because sewage from the Mexican side routinely spills from their system that's supposed to process it and dispose of it correctly. It spills just into the ocean and then pollutes the side here. So you could swim in most of the beaches in San Diego, but that beach, Imperial Beach, right on the border, you cannot go there. Apparently it stinks down there. Like if you go near it, it like
yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Why don't they fix that? All that money we give to Mexico, why don't you do something good with it?
Well, yeah, the problem isn't on our side of the border, so we don't fix it. I guess.
I mean, they give millions of dollars every year to Mexico. Say, hey man, why don't you fix that dookie pipe?
I've heard that they're working on some new stuff and new facilities for water treatment and blah blah blah, that they're gonna tune up some stuff down there. So
we'll put that at the top of the list. Get that fucking pipe fixed so we can have our beach.
Right. Yeah, it's not cool.
Keep your peanut butter, keep your chocolate out of peanut butter.
Right.
Oof. Disgusting.
So anyway,
what if somebody just says fuck it? I'm going in.
You can get very sick, I would imagine.
Yeah, baby.
I would imagine so.
So you're saying if you ingest raw sewage from Mexico, you could get sick? I'm
saying if you ingest raw sewage from anywhere, you could get really sick. You don't have to leave the country, Jericho.
I'll test that theory.
Yeah. So anyway, he's telling he has the one henchman with his old riverboat captain hat, or is he in a barbershop quartet with that hat?
Oh, he definitely has an armband on. He's in a barbershop quartet.
Right. Him and the girl, what is her name? Katerina or Teresa, or it's some name that he yells in a very staccato way when he yells her name a few times because he's calling her. What the hell is her name?
Eve. Oh, wait. Wow.
What is the character's name? He yells it out a few times in a very, like, I don't know. Anyway, he's telling them, you would think for a criminal mastermind, he'd have more than 2 employees. He really has 1.5. He's got this guy's an employee, and she's like his arm candy sort of employee. I don't know.
Keep your circle small,
I guess. Anyway, but yeah, he's talking about the nuclear testing that the Army's going to do. And remember, the plot of this is he's going to hijack the missile to hit the San Andreas Fault in California, blow up a giant earthquake all the way up another coast, and sink the coastal part of California, which just bothers me so much.
I mean, it might take more than one nuke to do that.
I can't stand when people say California will fall to the ocean. Guys, it can't fall when it's connected to the ocean. It's that the ocean doesn't, like, for those of you that don't know, the ocean doesn't go under America in California and pop out on the East Coast.
It goes
just
around
water.
It goes because America's so big.
Oh my God, guys! California can't fall into the ocean.
With the right place to live, apparently it can.
Oof.
This movie says it can. Her name is Eve.
No, he calls her by something really long. It's like 3-4 syllables.
But her last, it's like Tess Mac something, but it doesn't say the rest of the name. It's too long.
What the hell is her name? Tessmacher. That's
Tessmacher.
it. Yeah, he goes, Tessmacher, when he's calling her. It's annoying.
Well, she's hot.
Hardy Harmonica says, I'm saying don't even drink the water in Mexico. When I go to Tijuana to have lunch with my friend down there or my wife, I always order a Coke Light. That's what Diet Coke is called. It's called Coke Light. I order that. I don't want the
bottle.
I don't want the tap water. I
No,
don't want it.
to me out of a bottle, sir, senor. I don't want that L shit.
Anyway, so we get introduced to Lex Luthor, the riverboat captain that is his henchman, and Tessmacher, his girlfriend. Right. So we go back to the Daily Planet. Lois Lane is going to fly off to do some story in the helicopter from the roof of the building. It gets caught on a cable, one of the skids on the bottom of the helicopter. It messes everything up, and the helicopter is dangling off the building. Superman is there, and he's like, I got to save the day. He comes out of the bottom of the building. He looks up. We get that famous thing where he runs into the phone booth, spins around. No, he can't go into the phone booth. He runs into the rotating doors, right? Right, and then he changes into the outfit, and then he flies up there, and he saves her because she's fallen. She falls. The helicopter's hanging over the edge of the building for a while. Yeah, and everybody's just watching on the ground. Now, Jericho, this is macabre. If there were a helicopter hanging off a building and you saw people hanging out of it, would you stand and watch? I wouldn't want to stand and watch.
That's what I don't understand about these movies. It's always in a big city, some shit, a hostage situation or something's going on, and the people are right there. Why do they allow the people to be that close? I understand having a barrier, but why do you let them be within like 50 feet of all the action? It should be like 100 yards. They shouldn't even be able to see what's going on, but they're always super close. But no, I don't think I would stand there and watch. And
you really want to watch someone fall and then see their body explode when it hits the ground? It feels
splatter all over the
First of all, it's gross to see, and I believe this sincerely. I think it's disrespectful to watch something like that happen. I do. Like when gore videos pop up on Twitter or whatever, I always block that account and flick away real fast. I think that's so disrespectful that people just like normalize watching people getting killed. I think that's disgusting. You know, that's like somebody's family member. Like, why are you watching this for like entertainment? So
there's a friend of mine who's a former police officer, and he says one of the things he wish he listened to his dad about. Well, his dad told him, "Hey, if you don't have to look, don't look. You know, if you're at the scene of an accident or something like that, or homicide or accident, if you don't have to look, you're not like an EMT or you're not rendering aid, don't look." And he says he wished he would have listened to him because you can't unsee that shit. The most horrific shit, bodies dismembered, all this crazy, disgusting shit. And he said, if you don't have to look, don't look. And another thing about these scenes, especially these comic book movies, you know, damsel in distress, they have amazing upper body strength because to be able to hold yourself for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 8 minutes, whatever that's a feat to be held. Because
I don't think the average adult could do a dead hang for that.
You're falling immediately.
Right.
You're not even holding on for a second. You're going to slip and you are going to fall to your death. But it's always funny how they have these chicks up there for like a 10-minute scene screaming and just holding on.
Terrible. On the TV show, I don't like the show, but I saw an episode of it somehow. Futurama, that Simpsons, that's a sci-fi, you know.
Mm-hmm.
There was a guy standing on a building, like all depressed, you know, and he was going to, you know what, off the building. YouTube won't let me say. And someone down below said, "Do a flip." Come on, man. So that's terrible. I disavow that. Anyway, she's hanging and hanging. Finally loses her grip. She's fallen. Superman comes up and grabs her, and he's all charming and fun. And, you know, you do have to suspend your disbelief that she does not recognize the guy she spent the afternoon with just because he took his glasses off and he's standing up straight.
It's like, who are you? Your shoulders, your eyeballs. Who are you?
Right.
So you don't remember me, bitch? We just spent 8 hours together. Brought you fucking salad.
Right.
Your shoulders are so much more broad. You don't have those glasses over your eyeballs. You look totally fucking.
Would you fly through the town if you could, like Jericho? Would you do this?
Oh yeah, I do it. I do a whole worse shit than that. That's for sure. But yeah, I definitely fly around and check shit out. Just catch people doing weird shit in their window. You're up on a skyscraper. You don't think anybody's gonna see you.
When I worked at DC Comics, across the street from the La Jolla San Diego building, I've told you this before, is the Colonial Hotel in La Jolla. And there were people that had offices on that side of the building. I was around the corner. My office was on Prospect Street, or Jenner, Prospect Street. They were on Jenner, which goes down the hill to the beach, and the Colonial Hotel, fancy ass hotel right there. And people could see into the windows of the Colonial Hotel. And people who had offices on that side, they had binoculars at their desks. And they would call people over and say, "You won't believe what's going on in this hotel room." So
getting it.
I'll leave it at that. And there was one guy, I was told by a coworker at DC Comics, one guy was a repeat performer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had
different lady friends with him a lot, is what I heard. A lot of different lady friends.
This is a spot. Can't have me coming to my own spot.
I guess.
Come to the crash pad. I remember in the Navy playing we were playing poker or something.
Yeah.
No pun intended. And everybody who smoked cigarettes was going outside for a smoke break. We can't smoke in the barracks. And this guy and girl stayed behind. We had no idea that they were a couple or anything. Actually, the girl was a lesbian. So we're like, for sure. And we smoke a cigarette. We come back in and they're banging each other on the table. I'm like, hey, time out. They like turned and tried to cover them. So I was like, what are you guys doing? So yeah, humans are sometimes not human.
That is
like, but you're a lesbian. How'd that happen? What'd you say to her? She was playing for the other team. She had a shiny face. Now
I guess some of the things you don't mean to see that you see sometimes in life.
Oh, yeah, I mean, this is like in the middle of the barracks, like the common area. So we weren't encroaching on their privacy. If anything, they were encroaching on ours. Wow.
All right. So Superman, after he saves Lois, he's flying around town, talking to cops, doing different things. He catches these guys. What are these criminals up to again? I only saw this the one time, but he catches these guys.
Oh, they're robbing. What are they robbing?
I don't remember what they were.
Boat or something like that, or
yeah, it was something. I don't remember the details.
Yeah, some shit. Yeah, I think. I can't remember what it was. But
I wonder what a
not
criminal
supposed to be
think.
there.
You're like a rough, tough criminal, and then you see this dude in his red and blue jams show up, and you've never heard of Superman.
Yeah,
so you don't know that superheroes exist, but you just see this guy in his underoos. Like, I don't think they take it seriously at first.
No. They're thinking he's mentally insane. This guy's in a fucking Speedo and tights and a cape with some latex boots. That's fucking nuttier than squirrel shit.
Right.
Yeah, it was a boat because he picked it up and dropped it there in front of the police. So yeah.
Right.
They were robbing a yacht.
Right. Robs a yacht, saves a cat. He's just an all-around good guy. And then he saves an airplane, right? There was an airliner that was going to go down, and he gets in the engine that blew up, and he helps guide it down. Yeah. So we see
one of the parts that I liked about Superman Returns, where he separates that rocket ship from the airplane, and like he gets back there, and the boosters are like right in his face, 24 thousands and thousands of degrees just burning him right in the face, and it just doesn't affect him. It doesn't singe a hair on his head.
Right, that happens in this movie too when he's behind the nuclear rocket.
Mm-hmm.
He's flying right behind. He's holding on to the engine, and it's just blasting him in the face. Yeah. So then he heads back to the Fortress of Solitude and talks to AI Daddy again. What if he put the makeup and the cotton balls in his mouth, and he did the Godfather voice in this?
Clark, what can I do for you, Clark? What do you need?
Daddy, why are you talking like that, Daddy?
The question is, why are you talking like that? What can I do for you, Clark?
I do feel like there's a bit of a after seeing this movie, I do realize like there's something. Batman 1989, Jack Nicholson, the Joker. There's obviously goofiness there because he's the Joker, but I do feel like that element is here too with Lex Luthor, where he's a villain.
Yeah.
He's totally evil, maniac, murderous, but there's a goofiness to it. And his henchman here is always up to something stupid.
Yeah.
He's always in the middle of like, you know, he doesn't do this in the movie, but he might as well have made like a Dagwood sandwich, you know, one of those 15-layer sandwiches.
Hey, boys, you want a sandwich?
Yeah. He's like, no, you idiot. He is always a bumbling moron. And he played it perfectly. But yeah, there's definitely a silliness, a cartooniness
right
to it.
And I think overall that's a good thing. And I can't put my finger on why. I think it makes it fun and more accessible and not somber and serious. You know, a little bit too serious. And then, like, comic books are supposed to be fun. They're colorful. They're crazy ideas. And I do think if this was all played like grim, dark, then it comes off as like a little phony, a little trying to be too tough. And then they go overboard nowadays with the Marvel movies and the Deadpool. And there's like a joke every other line of dialogue. Oof. So, you know.
Agreed.
Right. So then here he's talking more about what Superman's up to, and he doesn't like Superman and his plan. And you realize he's bald here. And they never really explain it in this movie, but they don't ever want to show Lex Luthor bald until the final like shot of the movie when he goes to prison. Then he pulls his wig off. One thing you do see here is when his henchman comes to bring him his robe and get him out of the pool. He tells his henchman to bring him his robe, and there's a big rack, a bunch of like styrofoam heads that have different wigs on them. I noticed. So he's got like his sporty wig, his dress wig, his romantic wig,
his silly wig, his serious wig,
his birthday wig.
Yeah, it's Friday night going out wig. A lot of wigs.
His vacation wig.
Yeah. His business meeting wig. Very serious wig. But this, they saved that because it is quite shocking, a little jarring. You know, at the end to see him bald. Also, not knowing the real actor himself, Gene Hackman, to ever be bald. So
remember, culturally, I don't think it was ever normal to have a shaved head until the mid-90s. Right? If you shaved your head, you were like a mental patient if you did that.
Yeah.
You know, you didn't shave your head bare. So that was like an outrageous thing for men to do. And it's been normal for about 30 years now. Like mid-90s, you could shave your head, you could get away with it. But yeah, so I think the shaved head must have been like, oh, when he takes the wig off at the end or whatever.
Holy shit.
So,
and like, the real actor shaved his head. This dude's crazy.
right.
And of course, the classic trope of these movies is the most amazing thing just happened. Some dude's flying through the air, dropping a yacht in the street, and everybody's like, yeah, no problem. Everybody's not like, holy shit. Like everybody would be talking about this. Like, superhero.
Who loves you, baby?
Who loves you,
says,
baby?
Kojak wore a bald cap. How can you tell me that? I thought he was bald my whole life.
Telly Savalas.
Wait
Come
a
on.
minute.
Yeah, I thought he was too. Wasn't he bald like outside of the movie? No, he was really bald.
No, you can't be right. I'm Googling Telly Savalas with hair.
Yeah, but even that was just like one TV show. It was still, I think that was part of
I think Telly Savalas.
Yeah, Telly Savalas.
He had male pattern baldness. He had hair on the side of his head. So he just shaved it. There's no way you'd have to wear a bald cap if you're like that. Wouldn't you just shave a little bit of hair?
I was like, no way. Because even in everything you saw him in, he was bald. So like,
no way. No way. Telly Savalas. I'm gonna write bald cap into here. No way. He wore a bald cap? What the hell?
No, she said bald cop.
Oh, I misread it and I was so confused.
Like, wait a minute. No, bald. He was a bald cop. Yeah, that's true, but it was just, it was a TV show, and that was part of it. Like, he's bald. This shit's crazy.
Right. That reinforces what I
it.
was saying. Like, whoa, he's bald. Like, that's the main thing you remember about Kojak and Telly Savalas. As good of an actor as he may have been, you just remember that he was bald in a time where nobody was full dome back then.
Yeah, and he had some cool ass hats he would wear though.
And Yul Brynner. So let it be written. So let it be done.
Yeah.
Yul Brynner was great in the Ten Commandments.
But again, that's part of the reason you remember him.
Right.
Because he was bald. He stood out. It was unusual.
So Lex Luthor, he's not Lex Luthor, Perry White, the newspaper editor, where Clark Kent and Miss Lois Lane work as reporters, plucky reporters for the Daily Planet. Now, this is the Metropolis Post. This is a competitor. But he's like, I want a story with Superman. One of you has got to get a story with Superman. I want to know what he thinks, what he does, where he's from, what he's up to, what his agenda is. And he's having that great newspaper editor that's high-strung and demanding and threatening everyone. And I don't know. It's just kind of, it's charming because it's a cliche that we all expect. I don't know. And then Clark is passing notes in class.
Uh-oh. Very risque.
Tonight at 8, your place, hopefully, a friend.
Ooh. I'll show you my friend. You show me your friend. We can be friends.
So here's the only part of the movie that I reject fully. He comes to her rooftop apartment, which what kind of money is she making as a reporter?
Rooftop, Lois.
You know, in Metropolis / New York City, how much is a rooftop with a garden? Goodness.
That she doesn't maintain, I'm sure.
Right. So they talk and she interviews him and this and that and the other. She asks about some of his powers. But there's a line in here that I would take out. I think it's just like, what is this? This is a wholesome, uplifting movie. Kids can watch it. Adults can watch it. Then she asks him what color her panties are. And he's like, oh, I can't see through that planter in front of you. It's lead. I can't see through lead. Then she steps to the side or whatever. He's like, oh, they're pink or whatever. And I'm like, what are you doing? This movie's been safe for kids up to this point. Now we're talking panty talk.
Panties.
What are you doing?
Even that word.
I don't like this. Thumbs down for me because it's incongruent. It breaks the verisimilitude of this movie. Nothing in this movie has been raunchy or even suggestive. And all of a sudden you get this and then it's over. And then nothing else in the movie is really bad like that. But I don't get it. It's like that just doesn't fit in. Stuff like that takes me out of the story. Like, what are we doing? Some teenager thought that was a funny joke. You know, I don't know.
He's like, Lois, you have a dick. Wait, what?
Right.
What's got
so can I call you sir?
Mr. Lois Lane? Mr. Lewis Lane? But he's like, oh, I'll show you some of my powers right here, bitch. Let's go. And he fucking takes her. Like she would be shitting herself.
Right.
Completely shitting herself right at the moment where you jump off the roof with her, not knowing that this is going to work, and then flying her around the city.
Right.
Oh, shit. That's funny.
Yeah. So he flies her around. They have a grand old time. It's romantic. It's adventurous. It's fun.
She's fucking wet.
Then, you know, she got her story. She interviewed him. She knows all kinds of stuff about him. And then he leaves. And then he goes around the building and changes into the Clark Kent persona and comes in. And then she's all kind of flustered because she still has butterflies about Superman.
Yeah.
But now he's got glasses on, so she doesn't know. And he's like, oh, I'm here for our date at 8 o'clock. And, you know, it's like she's not cheating on him, but she's like, you know, preferring someone else, but it's still him, which is
still him. I'm sure he's fine with that.
Right.
He doesn't care if Clark gets it or Superman gets it first.
Right.
He just wants to.
Yeah, he's playing both ends here. And then he does that great thing here. He takes his glasses off. He does one of these. Hold on. We can do this. You know, he's in here. He's all hi Lois, I'm here for the date. And she's like, oh, let me go get my hat or whatever. And then he's just like,
you know, put on something not sexy.
Takes the glasses off. You know, gets big, gets powerful, gets smiley, gets handsome. And it's like, it seems so simple. And you watch this actor do it, and it's really impressive. Something that simple. I don't know why. It's just really impressive. It does seem like a different person.
Yeah.
You know, here you are like, do you think you have enough life insurance, ma'am? Like knocking on the door, you know.
And look at same suit, but looks completely different on him.
Right.
You know,
no, he might have knocked on the door and been like, Jericho, how much are you paying for electricity right now? I'm in the neighborhood with Northern California Solar Panel Company. Oof. I don't want to be mean to those people. They come to my door and I have a no soliciting sign. Now, it's not on my front door because I think that's unwelcoming to guests. It's on the side by a mailbox where you can't really see it if you don't look. But I always just tell them, hey, I got a no soliciting sign. I'm not interested. I'm not a dick to them. So
I just don't like when they
yelled at was a Hillary supporter coming to tell me to vote for Hillary in 2015 or 16. I told him to
you.
get the hell off my property. That woman's trying to ruin America. And they left.
Yeah.
And my wife just started laughing when they left.
I hate when they get pushy. Like, I get it. You got a job to do. But number one, you come in my house at 5:30 when you know it's dinner time. I'm doing shit.
Right.
And number two, I said I didn't want it. So after that point, that's when I get short with them. Like, I already told you I don't want it. You think you're the first person to come to my house and try to offer me shit? I already have, by the way.
Right. I used to like go with the telemarketers. Hey, I hang up now. Yeah. If the telemarketer calls, like if they trick me into answering, because usually I don't answer. Usually I figure out it's going to be a telemarketer when it's a local number, but you've never heard of it. They're spoofing the number. That's what they're doing. But if I get tricked, like, hi, I'm calling from, AT&T or, something internet. I just hit the hang up button. I don't even talk to them. Like, sorry, not trying to be a jerk, but I'm not going back and forth with you.
You made me this way. You made me this callous toward you. Right. So,
like, sorry.
Not my fault.
And see, again, they're playing the comedy here. Have you, Jericho, ever read the newspaper with your hand on one page or like with three people? Because I think those are Lex Luthor's hands and then his two hench people behind him. Like this is a comedic image. You know what I mean? This is funny.
Yeah. Well, the Sunday papers are very heavy. So sometimes you got to get two buddies to help you hold it up so you can read it. And yeah, of course, the headline is right there. Boom, focus on this. So you know what they're reading about. And I spent the night with Superman. That's another one that's pushing it a little bit.
That's okay.
Innuendo.
The joke is too much because it just doesn't fit the rest of the movie.
But I spent the night with Superman. That's innuendo.
It is, but I do think it's something they'd publish in real life. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Listen, Jericho, if you're alone with a woman who's attracted to you and she starts talking about her underwear, you'd have to have sawdust in your head to not know where that's going. So I do feel like that seems a bit more provocative.
Actually, you need to get her verbal consent before you proceed with anything romantic.
I feel like crucial. I feel like underwear talk is a green flag. I feel like it is.
Actually, but she has her own bodily autonomy, and you need to get verbal confirmation that she's willing to engage in that type of activity with you.
This is unrelated. Secretary Not Sure, who's also a San Diegan like me, and I don't know what he's talking about here. Jericho, how's that construction going on behind your house?
Is this fucking company built houses like 6 feet from my fence? And we were told when we moved here they wouldn't be building back there for 10 years. There was this open field with like this hill, and kids would ride 4-wheelers on the weekend. But there's nothing. It's just big, humongous. I don't know how many acres. This huge open area, and now there's houses right there. The sun was out. I'd show you. They're like right there at the back of my fence. So, and they're blocking us. They're 2-story houses, so they're blocking the sunset. They get the fucking sunset now. They weren't supposed to be here for 7 more years. So, very upset. But from a construction standpoint, it's going great.
All right. Yes. All right. Well, now we know. Thank you for filling us in.
They're loud. They play their music.
Yeah, it sucks when your neighborhood or something changes and it's legal and there's really nothing you can do. One thing that the leftists we talked about at the beginning of the show how the leftists love out of resentment to ruin nice things. Remember, we talked about this. And another thing they like to do is ruin middle-class neighborhoods. There's a push in San Diego, and I'm sure all over the nation, but I know here, to build low-income, affordable housing and apartments in quiet residential neighborhoods like mine. So people who own a lot that is zoned for like one house, they're allowing people to build like a 4 or 6 apartment thing on it. It's like, there's no parking for that. We don't have the traffic for that. And I saw one on the news where they're like, imagine a normal home, like a 3-4 bedroom home, someone building a 10 apartment thing on a normal home lot. And they're passing laws like that in San Diego to change the zoning laws. And again, that's more of that communist resentment. Like, you have this thing and I'm jealous, so I'm going to destroy what you have that you like. Yeah, that's really,
Fuck that. Why would you want to? People pay the money to live in areas like that. To be quiet, and safe, and wholesome.
Used to be poor. Like used to live in dangerous places and apartments. Used to be very poor, me and my wife. We've made it. We do very well. We live in a beautiful, quiet Oh, San Diego, come on. Just Jericho's been here. It's nice. It's quiet. And we've earned our way to this. And I really resent the communist Democrats wanting to ruin stuff like this. And it's on purpose to be an asshole. That's why they want to do it. Because we're like, no, we need more lower income. Like, no, you don't just get to live wherever you want. I don't live on the hill in front of I live very close to the ocean. I don't live ocean front. I have some friends that literally their yard is the Pacific Ocean. They're very wealthy, but their house is on the Pacific Ocean. I don't live there. I'd like to. I haven't earned it yet. One day I will if I want to. I'll earn it. But I used to live in danger. My next door neighbor's house in like 2003 literally got shot. Drive-by, shot up. I used to live in bad places, and I earned my way out of that. And I don't want them to turn my nice, quiet, suburban little, middle class, upper middle class neighborhood into garbage because they are communists who resent everybody's success and they want to destroy what you have. It's very transparent to me why they want to do it. And I say, if you can't afford to live here, you need to move. I did. I'm not telling you to do something. I moved away from California in 99 because I worked construction and my wife was a waitress, so we didn't make any money. San Diego is a very expensive place to live. So we moved to dirt cheap Greeley, Colorado, bettered ourselves, went to college, got careers, and triumphantly came back here in 2008. We earned it. We didn't just say, give it to me. You know what I mean? So,
that's exactly what they want.
So Lex Luthor reads about Superman. This guy could be a threat to Lex and his stupid plans. But he also reads about this meteorite that landed somewhere in Ethiopia, and obviously that's going to be the kryptonite. Now, I didn't catch, when I was watching this, I must have turned and talked to my wife or done something. How does Lex Luthor know that this makes Superman weak? Was that in the interview? Where did he get that info? Because I didn't catch it. How does he know that? Do you remember? Let's make something up. What would be the most ridiculous way Lex Luthor would figure that out? Oh, you know what? He read it in a comic book. There you go.
Yeah, there's a scene where it opens on him reading it, and then he closes it. That scene is on the page.
That's me. That's me holding that kryptonite.
Or maybe a case file or something, or some scientist.
I don't know. Somehow he knows that kryptonite weakens Superman. I missed it somehow when I was watching the movie. Maybe I was talking to Big Baby. Maybe I was talking to my wife, but I missed it. Anyway, he's got a plan to sabotage these nuclear missile tests the U.S. government is doing with some remote control stuff he has. He's going to take over these launches, and he's going to launch one missile to New Jersey to distract, one missile to the San Andreas Fault in California to sink.
And finally separate California from the rest.
Sink California.
That's right, sink it.
Goodness.
In the drink. Show how crazy he is. Show that he's down. Kill 30 million people.
Mr. E theorizes, isn't it because he reveals he's from another planet and Lex works it out? Not sure. Yeah, I missed it. I don't know how he knows, but let's forget it. He knows. He knows that kryptonite hurts him. I don't know. So,
ouch.
Right. And is that Tessmacher? What the hell's going on here? She
lives in Marilyn Monroe.
She dresses up pretty in a way that would make the soldiers happy.
Yeah.
Just
up a little bit.
Maybe affect their discipline.
She has a case of,
right. She has a case of the vapors.
Yeah.
And it gives time for Lex Luthor and Henchman to sabotage the nuclear stuff, so they can get a hold of control of these things when they launch.
A young man would be powerless in this.
Right. Then there's the Hoover Dam. This is, it's on the border of Nevada and Arizona, about an hour from Vegas. I've been there a couple times. I've been there twice, I think. Have you ever been there?
Nope.
It is insane. It was built in the 30s, I think, and it is incredibly huge. Like, I know you know that, but like, oh my God, when you see it in real life, it's insane. And there's spillways on the side where if it overflows, it'll go into these other drains on the side. And those things, they were empty when I was there, the spillways, and just the size of this thing is unreal. It's just humongous. That's the top of the Hoover Dam is a bridge or is a road. It's like a 2-lane road up there. It's so big. And behind it is Lake Mead. I think that's lake mead that's feeding into it. So, and then in the center of it, I believe there's a giant brass thing on the ground somewhere near there, and it says like Arizona, Nevada, like it says it on it right there. So,
Yeah, I definitely want to go there. Bucket list.
Oh, Hardy Harmonica says they figured out the kryptonite hurt Superman in a Bazooka Joe rapper. They read it. And oh yeah, there was a line Lex said about how he signs it out when they stole the kryptonite. Yeah, I don't know how he figures it out, but he just does.
Yeah, good thing. So now Superman has his match.
So then what? Lois, is she going to head out California way, right? She's going to head out there for some reporting.
Check out those earthquakes.
And then, for whatever reason, I think because he talked about his super abilities of hearing and sight and flight, Lex Luthor puts out a frequency that's at some bizarre frequency or high pitch that only Superman and dogs and things can hear it. And he talks directly to Superman. I know you're out there, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to stop me. Come to my lair, come to the Ninja Turtle lair and whatever with me, So he gets Superman to, and I thought this was funny. Superman goes out the window while people are walking around the office.
No one's gonna notice. No one's gonna notice a coworker falling out the window.
And there was a cheesy moment here because Superman is known for changing inside of telephone booths and rotating doors. He jumps out this window and just diving head first, and then just boop, he just has the Superman suit on.
Well, he is super fast.
I don't know how he does it. So he did it super fast.
Where'd he put it? Did he drop it?
I don't know.
Those shoes are gonna hurt if they hit somebody.
I don't know.
Dress shoes.
He hits the pavement over Lex Luthor's Ninja Turtle underground sewer base, drills in by spinning, goes in, kicks the door in, goes to talk to Lex Luthor, and you're not going to get away with this. And that's pretty awesome. There's some really neat looking stuff in here. And then Lex hits him with the old kryptonite necklace, right?
Yeah, that was weird how he just put it around his neck. Like he was signing to a record label. That was weird. Right.
Oh, but first he goes into this big spiel to Superman. And we see the army guys. They're getting ready to launch their nuclear missile they're going to test. And, they're doing testing out there. And he shows a map of America. And then he shows Superman the lines where he's bought all that property out in the desert and all that in California and how he's going to snap off. Well, does it bother you the way it bothers me, dude? This bothers me so much, California falling in the ocean. This has bothered me since
it doesn't bother me that much, but I can understand.
I hate it so much. I hate it because it's so stupid. I hate it. Oh, fuck.
What's going to happen?
Anyway, it's the whole, we have the power to commandeer these missiles, through, remote control. We're going to make one go to New Jersey. And we're going to make one go to the California fault, blah, blah, blah. Give me all the land I want in California. Lois Lane is out there in California. She's dead. You're never going to stop me. I'm going to be rich, this and that. And, Superman's like, you'll never get away with it. And he gives him the old kryptonite necklace.
No.
What kind of necklace do you think would make you freeze if someone put something on it? What would be your weakness if someone put it on a necklace where you could no longer fight back?
If somebody took a pair of pajamas that someone wore out in public.
Like dirty Cookie Monster pajamas that some degenerate wore to Walmart.
That would draw me to my knees for sure.
The bottoms of the pajamas are all fringed and like black.
Dirty and filthy. Ugh, and the pants are filthy too. Yeah, that'll do it for me.
Did you guys see the Superman meme about him going back in time to fix the Biden problems? No, but I wish he did.
I wish he did. You could just fly backwards. Turn back time.
Heather in Lake Havasu, not Phoenix. I've accused her of living in Phoenix many times. She lives in Lake Havasu, which is on the border of California and Arizona. I think where you live is actually on the Arizona side, and California is just some other stuff. It's 111 day down to 101 at 9:26 p.m. Talk about tonight.
Finally cooled down to 101.
Heather, if you think it's been hot, get ready for the slow jams coming your way tonight on 102.3 The Meat.
Ooh, it's so hot outside. You put that meat on the ground, it'll sizzle on 102.3 The Meat.
If you don't know what 102.3 The Meat is, it is our unofficial radio station here on Double Impact. where we only play the slowest of the slow jams to get you and your lady friend in the mood.
That's right. All based on cuts of meat.
1023 The Meat. Come and see how the sausage is made.
Hey, come hang out with us 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. on the Sunday night slow roast on 102.3.
Ooh, the slow roast.
Bake me. Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm gonna baste
Check
your
it out, guys.
based in your turkey Sunday night on 1023 The Meat.
Ooh, rhyming all over you Saturday nights 10 p.m. on 102.3 The Meat.
And it's Lunch Meat Tuesday. Ladies line, call in.
Hey, it's lunchtime, guys. That's during the work week.
1023 The Meat. It's legendary radio station.
Hey,
You
check
can
it
only
out.
pick it up out in the desert, though.
Yeah, at midnight
Right.
on Sundays. So you gotta be
East of the Rockies, you're on the air.
right place, right time.
Uh,
Worth it
it's
though.
so hot.
Definitely worth
You
it.
cook your meat on the sidewalk.
Ooh, it's a hot one out there, blistering.
Try to
That's what
stay
you
cool, fellas. It's gonna be a scorcher today.
It's blistering hot outside, so you need to come in here and check out the cold cuts on 102.3.
Cold cuts. Oh shit.
Cool you off, man. But yeah,
And
he
we're gonna
gets
put you in a crock pot on Mondays.
Uh-oh, it's 8:45, 15 before the top of the hour. It's roast beef on a Monday.
Honk, 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 honk.
I'll tell you, it's a real roast beef Monday out there on the highways, Jericho. We got a backup on the 5. We got a SIG alert on the 805. And we've got a mattress in the right lane on the 52 going westbound.
Ooh, on the 118, it's going so slow it could be a brisket. So be careful, watch out, and give yourself time to sit in traffic. This is how we do it on the road on 102.3 The Meat.
Oh, man. I used to love to listen to that when I was in high school.
Yeah.
First got my driver's license. I just cruise sometimes and listen to 103,
Yeah.
1023 The Meat. It was awesome.
The freedom, the best meat cuts available to the ear, and the open road, man. You talk about
This
memories.
is the Salisbury Sundays.
Yeah, you can eat this, Junior.
That's something like an old lady would make, Salisbury steaks. That's like some depression food, the Great Depression fucking, So that's
The
definitely
word of the
old
day is meatloaf. Be the ninth caller and win tickets to the Barbecue Beef Festival. You could even bring your lady friend.
Bring your lady friend, get meatloaf, mashed potatoes, and peas. Tell them you heard about it on 102.3 The
Is
Meat.
there any gravy? Tony says we need to do a radio show. What do you think we're doing? This is a radio show. This is not a joke. This is my life.
This is real.
Hardy Harmonica says 1023 merch. Maybe someday.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We definitely get some meaty art.
94.5 The Buzz, Houston's #1 alternative rock station. In San Diego, the talk station, the classic rock was 91X. That was classic rock. I remember seeing that. That's like when I was in high school, when I was 16. That's what like 45-year-old construction workers listened to 91X. Yeah. Kids listened to Q106, that was pop music, and Jammin' Z90, that was hip hop and R&B. Those are the stations kids listened to in high school.
So it was 92.7 K-Rock, where I live. And they pipe in like Bob and Tom and shit for the morning show. And then hip hop and R&B was 102.5 K-Don. That's the station I ended up looking for. And then the oldies was 105.1 K-Ocean.
We had K-Best 95. That was the oldest station here. And they would do like the old 50s doo-wop people singing.
Yeah. And we had La Preciosa. La Preciosa. That was a Spanish station.
I do love night driving by myself. I don't do it now, but I did it when I was young. And I know the Mexican national anthem because of that. Because when you live in San Diego, many of the transmitters for San Diego radio are in Tijuana because it's so elevated. Tijuana's higher than San Diego. Like there's huge hills there. And when you're in the southern part of San Diego and you can see Tijuana across the border, it's above you. and you see these giant hundreds feet tall radio towers. So they would have to, when they would do the call sign, it's extra 1023 FM. They would then say it in Espanol. They would say X, they would say XTRA, but they would say it in Spanish. And then at midnight, they would play the Mexican national anthem. I guess that was all like by business agreement. They had to talk about Mexico too, since the transmitters were actually coming from Mexico. So.
Man, they should play the fucking national anthem at midnight.
Heather says, do radio stations still exist? I don't listen to radio. I listen in my truck to Kogo 760. That is a talk radio here in San Diego. But I listen, since I'm a big Denver Bronco NFL football fan, I listen to 104.3 The Fan. That is FM sports radio from Denver, Colorado. But I listen to it as a podcast through iTunes. So the daily radio shows they play in Denver, you could just download them from iTunes every day and listen to those. So every day I listen to that while I lift weights around lunchtime. So I stay up to date on my Bronco football, but I don't listen to it too much. The older I've gotten, the way less of a pro sports fan I've become, because I realized it's a scam to keep your eye off the ball. If you sit there and watch NFL football for 7 hours on a Sunday, you're not doing anything productive with your life. So I haven't done that in years. For like the last 7 years, I watch football for a half hour on Sunday night. After the game is actually over, I log on to the NFL app on my iPad or my TV, and I watch the Denver Bronco game in a 30-minute edited version where all of the timeouts and commercials are taken out. It is the greatest way to watch football. I love it. And that way I can actually do something with my day.
Yeah, I watch the highlights. I love watching NFL highlights, college highlights. But I will, if I have the time, I'll sit down and watch a Niner game for sure. I think now my son's old enough to watch it with me, so that'll be cool. But 7 hours, not. I'll give you 30.
I do have a tradition until the lockdowns in 19. I had a party at my house with like 15 dudes. No women were allowed to be at my house. And we made so much breakfast food and like kind of like I made a buffet. And we would put multiple TVs in my living room. And we'd turn on the NFL Red Zone. We'd turn on the local game. We'd turn on another game. We would watch football for like the 7 hours on the first Sunday of the NFL. And then play poker and stuff like that. But it was awesome. No women allowed at the house. No wives, no girlfriends, no little girls, nothing. Men, they want to bring their sons who are on the Pop Warner teams. They could bring boys too, but the boys would go play in the yard and stuff. It was an awesome tradition. Quit doing it in the lockdowns because people quit doing stuff. But I did it for like 11 years straight. And that would be the day where I would watch football all day. But you can't catch me watching sports. And I definitely don't watch like woke ass ESPN or anything like that. I haven't watched that in like 15 years because it's like horrible propaganda. So.
Yeah, sports, that'd be great.
Right. Michael Coulter, hey, Gabe and Jericho, do you guys remember Casey Kasem's Top 40? LOL. Yeah, Casey Kasem. Did you know he was Shaggy's voice on Scooby-Doo?
Yeah, Scooby-Doo.
Hey, Scoob. Yeah, same guy.
No, that was on for years, decades. I remember as a kid, as a teenager, listening to Casey Kasem's Top 40 countdown. He was like holy shit back then. So, yeah.
How about the USC Trojans beating LSU Sunday night? Didn't watch. I'm telling you, I don't watch anymore. I will watch UFC big events, and even then, I just watch the main card, like the last 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. I don't watch the whole 7 hours of it. So I'll watch the fights on a Saturday, like twice a month when they have their big event. But sports, I don't watch them anymore. I just realized it's a psyop from them, the elites that think we're all peasants, to keep you busy and waste your time as a man. You're supposed to be productive and like making hay while the sun shines. And I just realized being obsessed with sports, getting like fucking when I was like 18, 19, if the Broncos lost a game, my Sunday was ruined. Think how stupid that is, dude. That's dumb. You're living through them instead of living your own life. Like when they lose, I'm supposed to be sad? The fuck do I care? That's not my life, my business, my family. Like to me, it's just like, okay, I love football because it was a big part of my youth. I'm not going to waste my day doing that or care if they lose, like whatever. So wow, Tony heard Casey Kasem all the way down under.
Down under.
That's insane.
Yeah, I'm sure it was worldwide. Casey Kasem, shit.
Wow, yeah.
Because he has the coolest songs, top 40. It wasn't just top 40 here, top 40 in the world.
I don't know. I just think I really do. I've developed this attitude in the last like 7 years that watching sports, I think it's a waste of time. I really do. The Super Bowl, sure. If my team is in the Super Bowl or whatever, of course I'm going to watch. It's one day. I'm not going to watch 7 hours of football on Sunday. That's like, to me, that's irresponsible. Like, dude, I'm supposed to be doing stuff. You know, so
That's a long time, 7 hours. But I'll
and
watch
then
the
with
game.
their whole woke shit, end racism, stop hate,
Yeah.
like says it on the helmet. Then in
It
the
takes
end
all
zone
of
of the
us.
NFL, it says like end racism in the
Yeah.
get the fuck out of here.
It takes
By
all
the
of
way,
us.
the league is like 70% black. It's not racist.
It's not a
They
problem
just
there.
pick the best players.
They're rich as
Sports is
fuck.
the only place where nobody could accuse it of being racist. No one,
What we do.
you know, and you're going to get
like a plantation.
unbalanced things.
It's
you
like
know?
slavery. Remember, get a few NFL players say that playing in the NFL is like slavery. Really?
Really?
I'm sure if we could exhume some of those slaves and bring them back to life, they'd be like, "This is slavery now. Sign me up." Because what I was doing in fucking 1732 was way more fucked up than this.
Yeah, that's what a horribly insulting thing to say.
Fucking idiots.
Jeez,
It's like a
what a terrible thing.
plantation. They would sign me up.
So yes, I love football. I think every little boy should grow up playing football, but I don't think you should sit around and watch it all day. I don't think you should sit around and watch anything all day. Remember, guys, I've always told you, my mom and dad, we didn't have TV. Like we owned a television, but we didn't have cable TV. I think, my whole 18 years growing up, we had cable like twice for like less than a year. Like it just wasn't a thing in my life to sit and go, and just stare at a screen. It just wasn't part of my life. So I just can't do it. I can't sit there and watch TV. It just feels, I was just raised that like, that's a waste of your time. Don't do it. My mother would always say, go be creative, go be creative. Guess what I do for a living? I'm creative. So there you go. Heather, my husband plans his life around football. I don't know what to tell you. I used to when I was younger,
Yeah.
but I just realized it's not a good use of my time.
No, I respect, people who may not like it, but also people who are like big fans. I've always been amazed by that. Like when people take it like, lifelong fans and memorabilia and shit like that. I had a friend who had a room that was like all Yankee shit. He had 2 seats from like the old Yankee Stadium.
Right.
Like it was kind of cool. It was a pretty serious collection. But I'm a big Niner fan. Like I said, I'll give them I'll watch a game, and I do like the post game when we win. But one thing I don't do, I don't have a jersey. I don't know.
I have a jersey, and I've never understood guys like, dude, you're wearing a shirt with another guy's name on his back. Like, so what? I'm a fan.
I just don't have one. I like hats. I like to I have a bunch of different Niner hats. I do like that. But I want to take my son to a game.
Yeah, I do think going to a game is totally fine. I don't think that's a social thing. That's a family thing. It's a cultural thing. Like it's very, like you go to a baseball game and you never felt like more American in your life. It's just, going to games.
Cool.
Is awesome.
Yeah,
But
I like it.
Going to NFL games kind of sucks because you can't see no matter where you're sitting. The NFL on TV is an excellent product. You can
it sure is.
You can see the game so clearly and understand it. You go to the game. I've had great tickets at games. I went to the very last Charger Bronco game ever played in San Diego. We were in the 17th row or something, 50-yard line. And you can't see crap. But I did see Von Miller up close. I've never seen a human, and this is 2016 Von Miller. This is like Super Bowl Von Miller, right? That was the year they won the Super Bowl or something with Peyton Manning. He was a Super Bowl MVP or whatever. I think it was that year or it was the year before. Whatever. He was in his prime, and he's one of the greatest defensive ends of all time in the history of the league.
Yes.
I've never seen a human being move and run like that. He was fully bent over or bent sideways and still running and twisting at full speed. And to see that up close, the TV doesn't do that justice. It looks superhero. It's just the coolest, weirdest looking thing I've ever seen, what he was able to do with his body. It's insane.
Yeah, I went to a Niner game, and we got there. Great seats. Like we were close to the field. Like they walked over to us. A couple of one of the administrators I knew, he came up and said what's up. He could reach up and like shake our hand. We were like in the corner of the end zone right there, but it made a shitty view for the game because you were basically eye level.
Too low? You were too low.
Yeah, so their bodies were blocking, the action unless it got close to us. But
right.
It was a great experience. But yeah, you can't beat a 65-incher in your living room.
No.
That's where it's at.
Tell me when you come down on this. I've debated my son about this. When I go to a high school football game or a pro NFL game, or I go to a real football stadium, the field looks incredibly small. And on TV, it looks massive to me, the field.
Yeah.
Because my son says the opposite. My son said in real life, the field looks giant, and on TV, it looks small. Which way do you feel? Because I feel like TV, the field looks endless. It looks huge.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree that in real life, it's smaller. It's less grand, like we see it on TV. And I think our mind has something to do with that too. But speaking of, big on TV, like quite the opposite with the players. You see them on TV because they're all big, or most of them are big, especially in the line and all that shit, and linebackers. So when you see one of them in person, you're like, holy shit, you are gigantic. Like, it really does take a special human being physically to become an NFL player. I went, can you look up real quick, Solomon Thomas for the Niners?
I've heard of him. He's a commentator for years.
No, he was in the NFL pretty recently. I think he still is. But
I'm thinking
he's a player.
Else, Solomon.
No, I think he was a defensive end for the Niners, number 94, Solomon Thomas.
Okay.
To see this dude in person,
looks like he was crazy. A Raider too.
Oh, that's unfortunate. But that dude,
is he a Raider there? Raiders.
We all make mistakes. But look at that dude's arm. He would look like he was carved out of granite. This dude with muscles everywhere. And the crazy thing is he wasn't that good. That's why he bounces around a bunch of teams. But dude was just shredded. You see these guys, like, holy shit. I saw the punter throw a ball like a quarterback. He's like 6'5", threw the ball perfect spot like a quarterback. Those dudes are amazing.
Right. No, it's something else. Those elite athletes. Even the worst guy in the NFL is a freak of nature. You know what I mean? Yeah. The worst player on the worst team is still an absolute freak athlete. I've run into a few NFL players. I ran into Chad Brown. He was on the CU Buffalo, the university championship team in like 91. Then he was on the Steelers forever. Then he was on the Seahawks forever. And then he was on that undefeated Patriot team that lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. I met him at Momofuku in Vegas. I was having lunch there. That's at the Cosmopolitan Casino. And I always like when I meet NFL guys because I'm always like as big as them or as tall as them. I'm like, yeah, that's right. You thought you were bigger than everyone. Chad Brown's big as me, though. Dude, he's like 53 years old. He could still dunk a basketball. Freaky dude.
Yeah.
And I ran into
Craig.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was huge.
Who was the great safety for the 49ers who lost the finger?
Oh, Roger Craig.
No, Ronnie Lott.
No, not Roger Craig. Ronnie Lott. Ronnie Lott. The hell am I saying?
My coach, my high school football coach, coached Ronnie Lott in high school. And he said that Ronnie Lott was Billy Badass in high school, too. You know, he didn't like blossom in college. He was already a complete badass in high school. So,
Ronnie Lott is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. But the Kryptonite rapper necklace.
Right. And
it weakens him so much that Lex Luthor just walks over and just puts it around his neck, just drapes it right around his neck. He's so weak from being so close to it, just tosses him in the whatever that was, fish tank.
You said the filthy Cookie Monster pajama necklace would weaken you. What necklace thrown onto you would strengthen you?
A titty necklace.
I feel like that would weaken you because I feel like you keep going down and like wobbling your face.
No, that's Popeye eating spinach. You just get stronger. Your biceps are fucking Sherman tank and shit.
You got the Sherman tank on there just firing away.
Yeah, dude. Let's go. Let's get the fuck out of here.
All right. The Punisher says, to quote Neil Gaiman, the great comic book writer, Superman doesn't have to be relevant or relatable. He just has to be inspiring. Yeah, most people cannot write Superman. If you read a lot of modern Superman comics, they're dreck. They're not inspiring. They're, what if it was all bad? And what if it was like, no, Superman is supposed to be glass half full. He's supposed to be uplifting, inspiring. It's just supposed to be positivity. Not supposed to be Melba toast or wishy-washy or anything, but it is supposed to be super inspiring. He's an example to people everywhere, to be forthright, to be honorable, to be honest, to be brave in the face of terror. And so many writers just don't get that, they don't. It's a damn shame. But he is supposed to be the big blue Boy Scout, right? He really is.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, can you think of few things that are more iconic in American culture than Superman? You got like Ford, Coca-Cola, Mickey Mouse, Superman, McDonald's. Like these are iconic American mythology,
worldwide.
And
you're welcome.
for the millionth time, that's why I quit working at DC Comics over what they wanted me to do with Superman. It's like, I'm not part of this shit. Helping destroy the culture I live in. Get out of here. It's like,
Yeah, truth,
I've worked
justice,
for you
and a
guys
better
for
tomorrow.
15 years. What about me in the 15 years I worked would ever make you think I'd agree to something like that? People are absolutely nuts, dude. Whatever.
Truth, justice, and a better tomorrow.
Hey, what if America sucked and your dad was wrong about everything?
That's a brilliant idea. Do it.
What if the kids knew everything and the parents were fucking idiots and always wrong, Jericho?
Oh, that's so turning it on its ear.
Oh, man, that is interesting. Tell me more.
Wait a minute. So the kids are in charge?
Wait. So that's why I like when that Greta Thunberg came out. I remember putting out a tweet that said, people who listen to kids deserve it.
Yeah. Like, let me see your room. If it's
How
clean, I'll
dare
listen to you.
you.
Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous, man. Wait a minute. Guys are weak now? They suck? The ones that's got us here? All right. Pretty edgy idea. Let's do it.
So anyway, the nuclear missiles have been launched.
Yep.
Lex Luthor has
Up in
control.
the air.
Spider-Man? Come on, Gabe. Superman
Almost.
is taking a little Jacques Cousteau undersea adventure, drowning with his kryptonite necklace. But it turns out that Tessmacher, her mother, lives near the San Andreas Fault in California.
Yeah.
And
That
when
killed me,
California
Mom.
goes bye-bye, she's going bye-bye, right? Or her
That's
mom
right.
lives near New Jersey or something. And she lives near New Jersey, the mother.
Where the other
She
missile's
tells
going.
Right, where the decoy missile to get Superman away from California is going. And she tells Superman, if you go save my mom, I'll take this kryptonite necklace off you and set you free. But you got to save my mom first, not California. And he wants to go to California. Lois Lane's out there.
Promise me.
That's where the earthquake damage will be. And then a real weird thing happens. He's all weak and he has the necklace on and he's out of the water and she's helping him. Then she leans in and kisses him. And then she takes the necklace off. He's like, what did you kiss me for? She's like, because I thought that if I didn't take it off first, you wouldn't let me kiss you. She unconsentingly, to make up a word, she kissed him with no consent.
You're right, bitch. I wouldn't have. Yeah, but it's a man.
She needs to be canceled. She needs to be canceled.
No, men love that. No matter what men love, you could touch them, you could kiss them, you could lick them. They love that stuff. They're all perverts. They're all sex all the time. Touch them, do whatever you want to them. That's how they treat men, even back then. But I was like, let's see.
I'm more than a hunk of meat.
No, that's it. That's all we are. Just slap them, tickle them, fucking lick them, punch them, stroke them. They love it.
That is
whatever you want to do.
When you go to Las Vegas, remember we were there when we were going down Fremont Street, the place with the big TV ceiling, like walkway. And there's male exotic dancers standing out there to get women to buy tickets to come to their strip show. And the men wear like black denim jeans and like a cowboy hat and no shirt. And these guys are, jacked on steroids.
Yep.
And women just come up and like giggle and rub their muscles.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just saying, men do not do that to women that are standing out there looking.
Yeah, you can't giggle and rub their tits.
Yeah, and you shouldn't. I don't think you should. But I'm just saying, why are you doing it to the guys? Why are you kissing Superman against his will? Why are you doing that?
That'd be funny if he just fucking took the necklace off and ripped her in half like a phone book. She ever fucking do that? But I was like, hey, white dress, water, talk to me.
Oh wait, I'm getting a message here. He wants to talk about his story. Do you have time to listen to the great Hulk Hogan wants to tell us about a time that someone kissed him against his will? Hulkster, how you doing, man? How you doing, friend?
I'm doing great, brother. How are you, brother?
Right. So I forgot. I really got to apologize. I forgot you told me when I told you I was doing Superman Tonight with Jericho, you called me and told me to warn you when this scene came up because it was going to trigger you. And I meant to text you, dude, and tell you, but you know how the show is. We kind of go and we go off the rails and we come back. And I forgot to message you. And now you've seen this scene and it reminded you about the time when you first opened Postomania at the Mall of America up in Minnesota. I think there would be a catharsis for you if you just share with the audience what happened that day at Postomania. And maybe we could talk you through it and you could feel better,
Well, first of all, brother, as your one and only sponsor of Double Impact, brother, I expect better treatment than that, brother.
You have
Next
my
time, next time, call me, brother.
All right. I'm really sorry, Hulkster. Yeah, my sincere apology. I do not blame you for being upset. I'd be upset too if I were you.
So what happened was, brothers, riding down that highway on that red and yellow Harley, brother. I pull up to Pasta Mania, the first one opening up, brother, before I did the one down here in Florida. And I get there and I'm unloading those boxes of sweet semolina, brother, off of that red and yellow Harley. I turn around and there's a lady there and I say, hi, brother. I call everybody brother.
Right.
So I said, hey, brother, you're going to grab one of these boxes. You're just going to stand there looking pretty, brother. And before I could say anything, brother, she lays one on my lips. You know, they called me Thunder Lips in that Rocky movie, brother. She was the real Thunder Lips. She laid one on me, brother. And I'm not going to lie. I was on that red and yellow Harley thinking about a kiss like this, brother. And it happened, but I did not consent, brother. So after the little cupids, brother, that were circling around my head, after they went down, brother, and I snapped out of it, I grabbed her by her neck, brother, and choke slammed that slut right into the ground, brother. And I jumped off of that table, strong Italian wood, brother. I jumped off of that table. I leg dropped that Jezebel, brother, right there on the floor of Pasta Mania, brother.
Oh, well, I'm really, really sorry that happened to you.
You know what I said to her, brother?
No, I forgot. Well, tell me.
I said, eat your vitamins, brother. You need some vitamins on that, brother.
She wasn't a great kisser?
I don't even remember. All I know is I didn't give her consent to touch my body, brother. My body, my choice, brother.
That's right.
Unless it comes to the government, something they want. I'm not going to go there, brother.
Right. No, I felt real bad for you because, you know, your arms were full with a couple boxes of that semolina flour. It's not light. Even with those 22-inch pythons, your hands were full. You were defenseless. And she just planted one on you, Miss Thunderlips. It wasn't cool, man. It was not cool.
Actually, they're 24-inch pythons, brother.
Oh, I'm sorry. 24, not 22. Now, you say to this day, it still will just, you'll be working in the kitchen, stirring up that rigatoni, and it'll just like a flashback. You'll just get a flashback of this, frankly, assault this lady did. What sort of things trigger it back when you're in the kitchen working?
When I'm walking outside, brother, and I get to that spot, I get that, sorry, brother.
It's all right.
To that spot where it happened, brother. And sometimes I shed a tear. I get lightheaded sometimes, brother. But then I think about when I grabbed that whore by her neck, brother, choke slammed her into the pavement, and then jumped off of that Italian oak table, brother, and leg dropped her down to the depths of Hades, brother.
Oh, well, let me ask you this. Did she ever try it again?
She never tried solid food after that, brother. She was a mess, brother. Last I heard, they sent her to China for science, brother.
That's terrible. Well, I just want you to know it's not your fault, Hulkster. And, you know, just take ease with that. Just, you know, take that. I know it's cold comfort, but it is the truth. So is there anything you want to promote at Pasta Mania before you get out of here and we get back to the rest of the show?
Well, brother, I like to wait until the real time the kids are supposed to go back to school, brother. So for the month of September, everybody eats for free after 11, brother. But we close at 11:30, brother.
Okay. So, yeah, speed eating. It's the new thing. People really like it. Speed eating. Bring a bib.
Yeah, 11:29. I start grabbing people who aren't done eating, brother, and start tossing them out in that Tampa, Florida street, brother.
Right. Now, you asked me to do this before the show because you thought it'd be too hard for you to tell the audience, too hard to get through. But guys, due to what happened to him with that horrible woman, don't ever go into Pasta Mania and compliment him and tell him chef's kiss. Don't tell him that. Because it all floods back when you say that, and it all comes back into his mind. So don't, and I'm sorry I did it just now, but Hulkster, I only did it as an example so they would know the gesture. So don't.
No, that's cool, brother.
Don't do that thing.
That's cool, brother.
Don't do chef's you know what in front of him, please. Hulkster, Pasta Mania, Clearwater, Florida. Everybody eats free after 11 in the month of September. Go to pastamania.com. Make sure to follow him, Pasta Maniac, on Twitter. Pasta Maniac _119 on Instagram. And last thing before we go, you said you were starting a YouTube channel all about making rigatoni.
Yeah, by hand, brother. And I'll be wearing a banana hammock the whole time, brother. So watch all the ladies pour in, brother.
Oh, sounds amazing, guys. Pasta Mania, check them out. Thank you, Hulkster.
See ya, brother.
There he goes on the red and yellow Harley. Hulk Hogan, our one and only sponsor. Double Impact. He does pay a lot to be the sponsor, though. Does pay a lot. I took my wife there when we were in Florida. We went to Disney World, and then we swung over to Clearwater to check him out. And my wife thought I was kidding when I told her about the chef's kiss thing. So he came by to ask us how the food was, and she did it. And she thought I was making up stories. He didn't do anything, but he went back into the kitchen. And he didn't come out. And I thought when we were driving off, I thought I saw him behind the building, just kind of arm on the dumpster there. I don't know if he was crying or throwing up. Something was wrong.
You didn't take your wife over there to give him
Apologize?
the apology and the hug that he needed. He obviously needed.
I got the hell out of there, dude. I was not getting leg dropped. I was not letting that happen.
He's big, he's strong, but he's not on the inside sometimes.
Yeah, so
you ever see the Hulkster crying? Go give him a hug.
It's got a soft side, guys. It's not all 24-inch pythons and leg drops. There's a soft side there.
There's part of him that.
Anyway, after Clark Kent, Superman is unceremoniously assaulted by Tessmacher against his will, he laughs it off, though, and he flies away. He flies up and out, up and away, as they say. And he catches up to the nuke, the one in New Jersey. He stops the one in New Jersey from killing everybody and killing her mom. And he heads out California way. And it does not go well. The Army's just like, what the F is going on? Wow, our nukes are going crazy. He's not able to stop the California one. That one hits. Earthquake is triggered. Things start to go crazy. And that was Lois driving around. She's on her way somewhere in the somewhere in
nowhere.
So I forget what, I don't even remember what she was doing out in California, who she was going to interview, what she was going to investigate. I don't remember. Sorry. And it goes bad. She stops at a gas station to get gas, but before she can get anything, the gas station blows up because everything starts shaking apart.
Not a lot of production value here. A lot of models, middle of nowhere.
An Amtrak going over a train that's about to train track that's going to collapse. The Bay Bridge, which how many movies is the Bay Bridge or the Golden Gate Bridge?
Yeah.
The Golden Gate Bridge. It has been in a million things. It's even on the cover of our comic book that Jericho and I are working on.
It is.
So
it's been in tons of movies, Godzilla, all kinds of shit. Golden Gate. I've been there too. It's a nice bridge. There's a parking lot on the other side where you can park and walk it if you want. Quite nice. And once you cross the Golden Gate Bridge from San Francisco into what's it called, Sausalito, then you go ahead and take the property value knob and crank it up to 10. That's Nancy Pelosi's district, Sausalito. Very high-end neighborhood shopping.
Isn't that where Marin and all that is? And
Marin County.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah.
Mucho expensivo up there, north of San Francisco itself. San Francisco is very small for those of you that have never been there because it's a little peninsula. It's tiny. It's teeny tiny, the San Francisco, because it can't grow. There's just water around it on three sides. So I went to San Francisco in 2009 because I was a guest in Artist Alley at the WonderCon. San Diego Comic-Con has a sister convention that they also run called WonderCon. And it was at the Moscone Center. And it was awesome. And San Francisco was not the shithole it is now in 2009. It was the Tenderloin District and all that. It was always awful. We didn't know that. And we stayed at a hotel right by it. Holy crap.
Yep.
Loved San Francisco. Thought it was awesome. Crazy. The wharf, the restaurants. Went back 2 years later and 2011. And you couldn't pay me to go there now. My favorite thing I did in San Francisco was go to Alcatraz and pay the money for the headset. And you got the guided historical tour of Alcatraz from former prisoners. And when I left, you exit through the gift shop. There was a former prisoner there from the big famous breakout raid where those guys stole the guns from the cops. They were hiding between the walls, between the cells, and they actually escaped into the water. Some of them, I think they got eaten by sharks or drowned. They were never found again. One of the guys, I think, who was there or involved or something, he was a free man now. He was an old man. because they closed that place in the 60s.
Yeah,
And he was there signing books. He wrote about his time at Alcatraz. So if you're in San Francisco and you have the money to do it, and it wasn't that much money because I didn't have a lot of money back in 2009. But it was my wife and 2 kids, and we went and did that guided tour where you listen to the headset and there's different stations, 43, 48, and it kind of tells you. One thing I found fascinating was the inmates work at the kitchen, right? Cutting food, cooking food, serving food. And there's a big whiteboard, like the game Operation with the bones stuck in it, your thigh bone, your funny bone.
Mm-hmm.
There's a giant white pegboard or whatever. It's white with shapes in it of the knives from the kitchen for the butchering of the meat and chopping the vegetables. So lunch and the kitchen workers, it's not over and they don't leave till every knife is on. And it's a big thing on the wall. So there's a shape for this knife and that. And so the guards can see, yep, they're all there, so.
Yeah, make sure nobody took a shank somebody.
I thought that was fascinating that that's how those people have to live. Michael Coulter says, I think he meant yo, Jericho. This question is directly aimed at you, brother, are you ready for the new Spawn movie that's coming out? Because I am.
I look at that the same way I look at all the remakes that they're, reviving from the 80s and 90s, like Beetlejuice. A new Beetlejuice is coming out. New Crow is coming out. I saw the trailers for those. I haven't seen the one for the new Spawn. I will check it out though because it sounds interesting. But another movie that from my childhood that was fucking awesome, especially at the time. Spawn was like 97, so CGI was still in its infancy, but it was still a great movie. Michael Jai White. Who was it? Emilio Estevez's father was the bad guy. John Leguizamo.
Right. That's
so
Martin
yeah,
Sheen. Martin Sheen.
Right? Yeah. So it was a great movie. So again, is this going to be another one where they had 35, 40 years to come, or at least 30 years to come up with a sequel, and you give me a pile of running cat shit? So I'll check out the trailer.
Did you like the first one? Did you like it?
I thought it was cool. Because again, that was a lot of build up with the previews and shit. Like it had some kind of, it partnered with some kind of fast food joint. So they always show the part where it's coming down in the red cape. It's like blowing down slowly, it's blowing the wind and shit. But I wouldn't say it's one of the best comic book movies, but Spawn was cool. Would have been better if it was it rated R? It might have been PG-13.
It could have been.
It could have been done better.
It was pretty gruesome movie in some respects. Pretty heavy stuff.
But no, it was a cool movie. But I'd like to see it.
They got Jamie Foxx, right? Don't they have Jamie Foxx as the lead?
Why didn't they just get Michael Jai White? He's still fucking yo. Get him.
Jamie Foxx. Don't you think Jamie Foxx is a better actor than Michael Jai White? I don't know.
Yeah, better actor. Yeah, Michael Jai White has the physique and the
moves. The karate.
Yeah, they're way more natural coming from him. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll find out. So Superman goes into the Earth's crust and he's trying to fix the earthquake from the inside.
Yeah. This
is not working as well as he would like.
Okay,
school bus is hanging off the bridge again, sort of like the helicopter hanging off the bridge in Act 1. He lays down over the train track where that train was going to fall off, and the train runs over him so he can keep the people up there. He goes into the Hoover Dam and saves people from drowning. He's going all over. And Lois, her car falls into a crevice, which starts filling in with rock and dirt and all this stuff. And he's too late. And she's dead. She's actually dead.
Got heavy.
Ella would it be muerta?
Yeah.
Ella es muerta. She's gone. She's dead.
So here's where I had a little bit of a problem. He tries to save her, of course. But then remember earlier, his dad told him one of the things you cannot do is, reverse time or something, or you can't
interfere with, humanity.
Yeah, you can't interfere. And so, like if somebody dies, they die, but he's so in love and blah, 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 that he does it anyway. And I was like, dude, Superman. I mean, I understand, of course I understand him doing that, but that kind of chips away at his Boy Scout image. Like that was a rule.
He does great acting in this, because in many movies you get to look up at the sky. No, that is corny like 70% of the time. He's so good, he nails it here. It doesn't feel corny. It works. It works.
Yeah, he's part of that 30% where it works for sure.
You feel that pathos. You feel his deep.
But he broke a rule. He broke a rule. He's the ultimate Boy Scout.
Yeah.
So he flies backwards, reverses time to before she died.
He flies backwards, makes the Earth's rotation go backwards, thus reversing time. Don't ask. It's a comic book. And the bridge fixes all the shit from the earthquake fixes. And then she's back outside of her car that just ran out of gas before it gets eaten up by the earthquake crevice. So he undoes her death and fixes all the destruction on the Earth. Which if you're going to get really nerdy about it, then there were really no stakes in this movie. Because if the hero could reverse any sort of catastrophic deaths or damage just by flying backwards, it doesn't really matter what the bad guys were ever going to do. Well, he could just fly backwards. What if he abused that power? Like he was making a grilled cheese sandwich at home, but he burned the sandwich, so he flew backwards to unburn the sandwich instead of making a new one.
That would be really screwed up, but I think, yes, it definitely lowers the stakes.
What if he did that? Like his football team loses the Super Bowl, so he just flies backwards to fix it.
Bullshit.
He flies backwards, and he flies to the stadium and says, that guy's gonna get an interception. Don't throw it over there.
Yeah.
You know,
like puts on like one of those Marx Brothers disguises with the big nose and the mustache and the glasses, so they don't recognize. Or just puts on glasses. That's all he has to do.
Puts on his glasses, right? He already has
glasses.
this guy.
No one fucking recognize you at all.
Yeah. Oh.
At all. He's like, Clark, what the fuck are you doing here? Or Superman, what are you doing here, dude? He's like, I just fucking flew backwards in time to bring you back to life. You're gonna give me some tonight.
He's I'm not saying you owe me. I'm just saying you. I'm not saying you don't owe me.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm
just saying that if I were you, I know what I would do.
Yeah.
That's all.
So that dick gonna be a superhero?
That Jimmy. Oh yeah, he said Jimmy Olsen earlier, but also left him in the middle of the desert.
Yeah. Save you from that, but you're gonna die of thirst and heat exhaustion. Sorry about that.
So then he flies, goes to Lex Luthor's lair, and where they're torturing Tessmacher because she freed Superman.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Superman comes in, beats up the bad guys, takes them to prison somewhere, I don't know, lands them in the prison yard. And you know, there's the warden, like, you're here. We finally got you, and you're gonna spend some time here. Then Lex Luthor pulls his wig off. Like, I'm Lex Luthor, mofo. And remember, the bald head thing was insane in the 70s and through the 80s. The bald head was like you were a mental patient. You know. Superman says something quippy, I don't remember, flies away. Roll credits. Great movie. And I am convinced this is a bad movie without Christopher Reeve. I'm convinced of it. You put an actor that doesn't have his charm and charisma and his ability to play the two characters convincingly, which is the weirdest thing in the world. If I said, Jericho, you're going to play two totally different guys, and what I need you to do is just kind of sound more timid and wear glasses for one character, and the other guy just stand up straight and be like really, really confident. And people will totally buy that you're two different people, and it works. I don't know how he did that. That's very, very strange.
Sounds easy to me.
Because the other Superman I saw, the recent one, Henry Cavill, he's got the look. But there's no difference between Clark Kent and Superman in those movies. They don't feel different.
No, he doesn't seem weak and kind of shrunken and, you know.
Right.
Oh, sorry. Whoops, sorry.
Right.
You just
so overall,
got these fucking glasses on.
Right. So overall, you like this movie, or how's this movie land for you? I really liked it. I didn't know what to think. I'd never bothered to watch it. But I'm so impressed with Christopher Reeve in this, you know. So I'll have to definitely rewatch number 2. I told you again, I remember seeing 2 on TV when I was very little, maybe kindergarten age. I remember he gets drunk and he gets all mean and something like that. So,
well, I'll look forward to that one. This one I wasn't a huge fan. It's definitely my favorite Superman movie. But
isolate Christopher Reeve's performance in this. Don't you think? Yeah. Do you think it's outstanding? I don't want to pressure you into it, but I think it's outstanding. You know?
No, I think he did a great job. But overall, it's definitely not my favorite Superman movie. But if you want to do it justice and you want to get into the Superman movies, it's a must watch. I'd say
which one is your favorite?
I'd say the second one. The third one was getting ridiculous. The fourth one, there was a Superman 4, by the way.
Right, the Quest for Peace. And he goes up against like Nuclear Bomb Man, and isn't he with Richard Pryor or some bullshit? Or
Richard Pryor was in part 3.
Oh, isn't there some scam where the villain, I don't remember, it's Lex Luthor or something, he's like trying to steal a penny from every bank account on earth or something to become rich or something stupid like that. If you're wondering if my studio is near my garage, it is.
Yeah, very near. Mine too. My garage is my studio.
Right.
Garage.
My garage. Tony C says Gabe and his many stories with character voices. What a talent. Well, thank you. Superman 2 is fantastic and much preferred. Oh, okay. We'll have to check it out soon. Jericho and I spoke off the air. We're going to do, it was his 60th birthday yesterday. Keanu Reeves soon. And then in October, we're going to move into spooky season. I think Alien, we did Aliens last year. I think Alien, I think Event Horizon, and I'll let Jericho pick maybe 2 of the horror spooky movies. We'll do 4 scary movies in October, but I want to do some Keanu Reeves, Speed, Point Break. We were going to do Point Break one night when Dean came on and we never got to it. And I think that'd be fun to do a couple Keanu movies. Obviously, he's got John Wick and The Matrix and all these like iconic movies. So I think he'd be a great one to do.
Yeah,
so
easy one. Easy.
All right. So, all right, guys, that is Superman 1978, an outstanding performance by Christopher Reeve. We will check out part 2. Maybe we'll do part 2 next week. Maybe we're going to move into Keanu Reeves right away. I don't know. Thank you guys for being here. Hit the like, hit the share, and the subscribe. Check out all of Jericho's links in the description. You got anything from Jericho? We out of here.
Just keep watching. Got some big shit coming up on the channel. Keep your eyes.
All right.
Peeled.
Talk to you later, guys. Bye-bye.